All right. I think we're live. I want to say we're live. I don't have a studio up at the moment, so let me get studio up to make sure we're like actually live and we're okay. There's a notification. For some reason, thumbnails isn't working today either. I'm not getting the proper thumbnails. Like, what is that about? But yeah, here we are again. We are back. We're going to try it again. We had some bad luck to begin with. Hopefully the connection's a bit better this time. Like I was saying during the stream, I'd like to have the chance to come on a little bit earlier and then play till my normal time, like 11:30. But I don't think YouTube's too forgiving right now in terms of sharing the bandwidth. I'm not sure what happened there. We seem to be having a better connection. So hopefully everybody comes back in, and if you do, you're more than welcome to. But if you can't make it, completely understand as well. There's other streams to watch, just nothing as cool or as awesome as ours. So Mr. Matthews says, take two. I feel good about this one. So do I. I definitely get the sense that this one could be a bit better. And Mr. I is here as well. He says, now this seems better. It really does. It really does. And Juicy is asking if we set something up. I really didn't hear exactly what she said, so I don't know. Mr. Matthews says, I think coming on later is key. That 8 o'clock hour is death. So from now on, we're going to go on at 8:15. It gives me that one warm-up round before we really need to get into it. But yeah, let's just leave that one in the rear view mirror. Focus on the rest of the stream tonight. And hopefully it doesn't happen again. But I'm not getting any warnings in OBS. I'm not getting any warnings. I'm not getting any warnings in YouTube right now. So fingers crossed. No buffering. Says, hopefully that continues. Juicy, Hellsdells, Kilgore, Lindica. I'm about to shake my angry fist at a cloud. Yako, and V-Rainerge. I'm trying, guys. It's a bit of a reach, but I'm trying. Sorry, I'm a little distracted because I have one eye. It's like I'm watching the game and the chat, but I have one eye on the studio, just looking for that buffering wheel. But we seem to be okay. What? Now we got kicked out of the game. All right, offline play it is. Offline play it is. Let's do some bots. Accept. Start. In the background, M. I was going to ask earlier. It's just a deja vu one. It's Tenchu Stealth Assassins, the PS2. I don't have my NES hooked up because I'm playing that game. I'm practicing it right now. I can't beat the damn thing. I'm about halfway through, I think. I'm starting to get a bit frustrated. But I'll get there. I'm not going to give up. No giving up. A nerd is back. He says, hello again. Deja vu. And I think we have a better connection. So yeah, we're gonna run with a little practice, and then we'll get to it.
They're here, Jason. Find them.
It's the bot, so I don't have to worry about the sweater being taken. Hopefully. Here we are again on the stream. Anyone? Anyone? No. I'll let that one go. But hopefully everyone can find their way back. I'm glad that you guys have made it. Somebody repairing the car.
Thank God it actually.
Deborah! How dare they? Mr. Matthews says, I've never played Tenchu. I've heard good things. Oh, it's good, man. It is good. There's a sequel as well on the system. But it's made by the developers who eventually became From Software. So it's a early game from the people that brought us the Dark Souls series. Come back here, La Chapa. Looking. We look okay, we look okay. Really, Deborah? There's like 3 people. It's a fun game. I don't know if it's better than Metal Gear Solid. It's a very good game, though. I don't think it's quite that good, though. Well, stop jumping through broken windows then, Bugsy, and you'll be fine.
Please, no!
Oh, Bugsy. And Deborah's right behind me, or AJ, I don't know. All the counselors are verging on me.
You can never die.
Mr. Matthews says, I've never played Dark Souls. I've heard things. I am a converted Dark Souls fan. I'll be completely honest. I sucked at the first one. I played the first one from the beginning. And I sucked unbelievably so. So bad. But my friends who played the game taught me how to play the first one. So I slowly got better. And with the second one, I got a little bit better. And by the time the third one came out, and especially Bloodborne, I'm fairly decent at the series. I'm not good in terms of a PvP standpoint, but in terms of PvE, I'm passable. I'd say I'm passable to good. It's funny, I've thought of playing Dark Souls 2 or 3 on here, but have not gotten around to it. Have them on PlayStation, but I've seen them on sale here for a bit. M says, how many of the MSG games have you played? I stopped halfway through 4. Which one was 4? Probably around the same. I want to say like Sons of Liberty.
Kill them.
And from the back, I never played the original Metal Gears on the MSX or whatever the other system it was on. But I was a big fan of the NES Metal Gear, even though my friends would make fun of me for playing it. It's like, what are you playing that piece of garbage for? You could be playing a good game. I'm like, this is a good game. Come here, Jenny. Mr. Matthews says, old Snake. Yes. Yep.
Don't let them.
A little too... Guns of the Patriots. That's it. I'm seen that one, but I haven't played it. Haven't played it very much. I've watched people play it. Well, everyone's here. They should smash that like button. Oh, Jenny. Mr. I says, with the pass card to access areas. Yes.
Yes. Kill for mother.
But you always had to have the card. In any Metal Gear, you had to have the card to get in the level. That was always such a pain. Switching to the correct card. Oh, that battery's already fixed. I'm at the wrong car. Damn it. Ah, they called the cops? Damn you, La Chapa. How'd they fix the thing? Mr. Matthews. Oh, Mr. I says, I like the original Metal Gear. Then again, I'm a fan of the older games. Same. Same there. Mr. Matthews says, honestly, I don't think there's a bad Konami game, at least in the NES era. Some are more just flawed than others. And I loved Metal Gear Solid 3. And Mega Jetty. Mega Jetty has joined us. How are you doing, Mega Jetty? Good to see you again.
They deserve to die, Jason. Make them suffer.
Come back here, Oh, come on. Don't even think about it, Jenny. Damn it. Where is she going now? Yeah, go out that window so I can grab you.
Please, no.
Mr. Matthews says, I killed him real good. You killed him real good, Pete. Real good. Mr. I says, I really feel bad for children today. I remember when I was younger that being told to stay inside was considered a punishment. We were always outside. Yep.
Yes.
Same.
Kill for mother.
It's like, well, then you're grounded. Forever. Nope. Did Deborah just kill herself? She did. She killed herself trying to open the bear trap, but you didn't hear her scream. You can only hear her scream. I knew he was coming. Missed. So yeah, just doing a practice run. Watching Tommy run into a rock. Get back here. Stop being such a Jarvis. So Jarvis-y. Is Jarvis now a verb? It can be. I think he's underneath one of these. I heard something. That sounded like the sound they make when they get under beds. We'll see though. There he is. I knew it. Mr. I says, LOL, that was the term. And Mega Jetty says, I made a new third account dedicated to Star Wars lore called Home 1, my first viz. On it is a what if that I'll premiere on May the 4th, despite Disney for thinking they could take ownership of the number. They can't take ownership of the number. Despite what people are saying. You can't copyright a date. Not yet, at least, I hope. And Mr. High says, we had to be back home before the streetlights came on. Pretty much. I think there's only 2 people left. Got someone over there. So let's go to this house. There's Chad.
Oh, oh God!
Oh, come on, Chad. And the damn pocket knife. Always with the pocket knife. These damn bots. Just never give me a break. There he goes. There he goes. It's alright, Chad. You don't need to run. Your running will be over soon. You'll be able to go home and rest. Whoops. Not playing that bad. You won't. Come here, Chad. Mr. I says, I'd like to play Simon's Quest again. I hear you on that, man. Simon's Quest was a good game. Underrated and dragged through the dirt unnecessarily by some. He went in here. I saw him go in here. So if he's not there, where is he? Underneath the bed? Yep. And Mega Jetty says hashtag. What are we hashtagging? Oh, the May the 4th? Whatever.
Yes.
Again.
Kill for mother.
It's just a hashtag. It's not the term. And that's why places like Twitter are what they are. Mega Jetty says, I'm currently eating Reese's Pieces while watching. I had DiGiorno stuffed crust pepperoni pizza today before work. Nice. Mr. I says, frustrating as hell, but damn good game. Alright, so where is the last person? Because I think we're waiting on one person. Tiffany Cox. And we're almost at rage mode where we should be able to see them. Mr. Matthew says, do it, man. Castlevania 2 was the only one I had, and the only Castlevania game I had played until Symphony of the Night. Same, man. Same. And the awesome music. Yep. It really does have awesome music. The town theme in the mansion, yep. Come on. And down we go. Nothing. 0 for 3. 0 for 3. Check the next cabin. Oh, Mega. I caught something in the Steam store the other day. A couple people noted it on Discord as well, but I have a game for future Crystal Lake Fridays that you've long awaited and that I promised that we would play. So on a future Friday, we can now play it. Mr. I says, I don't even have a Twitter account. Just seems too juvenile. In a lot of ways it is. It's good to stay in contact with some of the people that I met through the community, but that's about it, man. There's a lot of stuff on there. Inti says, hello! Hey, Inti, what's going on, man? Thanks for coming in. Thank you all for coming in. But good to see you again, Inti. Mr. Matthews says, Simon's Quest may be one of the worst Castlevania games, but it's still better than most other games on the NES. Yep. Mr. I says Castlevania 2 was a masterpiece to me. Loved how the enemies became stronger at night. Oh, there it is. Got the rage mode. And she's hiding in the closet over here. Let's try, yeah. And now we'll get to a real match. No more bots. The stream seems intact.
They deserve to die.
And we'll go
Jason.
from there.
Make them suffer. You've done your job well, and Mommy is pleased. Come home, sweetie.
All right. Back to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby and wait a little bit longer to get to another match. That's it, Inti. I was thinking of the phrase, what a horrible night to have a curse. Duh, 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 and then the music kicks up. Mr. I says it was just hard to solve some of the riddles, like the cliff riddle. Yep, there's definitely that. There's definitely that. Some of the games on the NES were pretty, not obscure, but pretty vague in terms of what you needed to do, and you had to have a lot of patience, and you had to be very alert and sharp on it. Photographic memory a lot of the times. I was thinking about that because I'm playing through a game that I'm going to do a video on, and Mr. Matthews and I were talking about this because Mr. Matthews just did a great video on Silver Surfer in his NES Hard series, and if you haven't checked it out, you should go check it out because he's done a great job on it. But he was talking about that in terms of some of the systems, the system functions, the play modes that you would have. I'm misusing the phrase, but you'll know what I mean. When mechanics, the play mechanics, damn it. That whether you have like a save mode or a everlasting continues or a password system, but some games required you that you would have to write stuff down, not just the password. You'd have to write down where you were on the map. You'd have to know. You'd say, oh, hey, that's what we had to do there. You had to have the guidebook. You'd have to have the strategy guide. You'd have to write your own, or you'd have to have not just the Nintendo Power. You'd have to have your own game strategy guide. Tech says, this is TechCom preserving Tech Terminator lore since 1984. Follow us if you want to live. Remember, there's no fate, but we make. I've got another streamer. Keep yourself off public chat if you're going to stream. Yeah. Keep yourself off public chat if you're going to stream, because that's super. Whatever. Anyways, Mr. I says, but that's what made us real gamers. We actually had to think and be good at games. Well, yeah, like I said, you got to write down notes. I remember writing down notes all the time, just grabbing scrap pieces of paper and be like, oh my god, not just the password. Things that were just so obscure and they, like, so, not obscure. Oh, yeah, Lindica, go smoke some more damn indica. Because you don't have enough or you've got too much. The rage is coming. The rage is coming, it's on the way. Mr. Matthews says, Pete, check the Discord. Stacy wants to know if you get the reference in this picture. OG, sounds good, I will. OG says, I'm having phone issues. I will watch on my Roku TV tonight. Good to see everyone. No problem, OG. Glad you could always make it, man. You're always welcome here. You're not a founding father, but you're an OG member, let's put it that way, of the Crystal Lake community. Inti says sometimes NES games were a bit too cryptic. Yes, but that was the fun of it, Inti. That was the fun of it. Before the internet, getting stuck was the worst. Really, it really was. Home One is with us. Mega Jetty's third channel. People should sub that up. Home One, so this is Home One, home of the Alliance to preserve Star Wars lore. Join us in efforts to restore peace, freedom, and justice and balance to the galaxy and the Force. May the Force be with us. All right. Why does it keep switching to random as well? Something's wrong with the game tonight. Seriously. Why am I on random again? I don't want to go to YouTube. I want to go to Discord. There's going to be some Discord when I start to say, hey, why do I keep going on random? We're going to have a little Discord, you and me, Steam client. Inti says, I remember getting stuck in Strider for the NES. You got some floppy disks, and then I had no idea what to do. All right, let's check it out. First of all, we're here. I'm going to copy this stream. So I'm looking in the Discord. Food videos? Where am I looking at? I do not see it. I do not see a picture. Oh, hold on a second. Please deliver to cat. Give me a second on that. Give me a minute. I'm thinking. Mr. I says, I remember having to take the cartridge out and blow them to make them work. Oh, yeah. Yep. Or you would have that cleaner cartridge. I remember some people had that. Where you'd like, it was like a video, like a VHS cleaner for the head, but you'd like stick it in the machine and then pull it back out. But nowadays, we all know, like, you use a little bit of isopropyl alcohol on some cotton and clean that up, clean the contacts up real good, and they work like a dream now. Ever since I figured that out. That is not us. It's Lindica, everyone. Oh my god, it's Lindica. There, let's go.
Did anyone else get away?
Mr. I says, but I had more fun with my NES than my Xbox One. I hear you on that, man. And the Xbox One and PlayStation 3 were great systems. But it was a lot more fun. Mr. Matthews says general. I saw it. I saw the hands and the cat. I'm blanking. The cleaner cartridge, Mr. I says. Now I just clean all my games before and after I play them. But I don't think I've played too much of Strider and T, so I can't really relate to that one. But I know what you're talking about, man. When you get to a point in the game and then you're just absolutely stuck. You can't go on. And at the time, it was like torture. But looking back, it's almost that it was better, I gotta say. Because some games you play today, you're just watching. Like, we make fun of this game for being, like, broken and the graphics not being the greatest at times, like, unfinished, but at least you're playing the game. There's a lot of games out there today where you're not even really playing. You're just watching a movie. And then there's some that are exactly like that. Like The Walking Dead, the Telltale series, that sort of thing, where you're pretty much just pressing, not even pressing a button, you're pressing a button at a key time. I thought I heard Jason around me to break the thing recently. So I can call Tommy, but seems to have been farther than I wanted to. Mr. I says, streaming is cool, but I remember taking my games over to my friend's house to game together. Yep. You'd be like, are you bringing that damn game tonight? Because we're going to beat it. I remember doing that. I've told this story on here before, but OG and I were talking one night because OG is a big Gauntlet fan, and so was I back in the day. That when we had Gauntlet 2, I played. We must have played last. Well, it was an all-nighter. I think we fell asleep at like 6 o'clock or something. But we played Gauntlet for as long as we could, Gauntlet 2, to try to see if there was an end to the game on NES. Of course, there probably wasn't. But we fell asleep, and unfortunately, while we're sleeping, my buddy's mom came in, checked on us, and turned the game off. It's like, oh, they're so careless. They left the game off. And we woke up, and we were like, no! We must have been on like level 500. On room 500. Mr. Matthews says, that's how Stacy presented it to me, and then she told me it's an Office reference.
Please, someone!
Oh, is it for garbage? Like, when they're trying to get out of in the first season, and they're, no, that's not the first season. It's the one with the bat. Could be. I'm not too sure. That's a pretty far-reaching reference, so I might be wrong. Somebody sounds like they're dying. Mr. I says, nah, man, this is one of my favorite games. That's the only one I can think of them. I think it's the one where the bat's in the the bat is in the office, and Jim pretends he's getting turned into a vampire because he says he got bit. And when they're trying to escape, it's Dwight gives Andrea the cat, the feral cat, because he had a few episodes before he had accidentally put to sleep her favorite cat, Mittens, and she had this cat named Garbage because it was like a barn cat. And in the episode, she throws it up into like the ceiling tile. No, she hands it up to Oscar. That's what it is. He's in the ceiling tiles trying to escape the bat. I could be wrong. Could be remembering 2 episodes at once. Mr. I says, nah, man, this is one of my favorite games. And Jason Elias Voorhees has rejoined us. Thanks for coming back, man. We found a better stream. The connection is better. We're good to go, hopefully, for the rest of the night. And Inti says, VHS cleaning tapes, how exactly do they work? They were similar to, let me just bring that up there. They were similar to what we had with the NES cleaning cartridge, because I think it came with a little fluid container, which I would learn later on was just isopropyl alcohol, but you'd put it along. But the tape would have the same thing, that you squeeze the little bottle with its cleaning solution, then you put it in the head of the VHS player, press play, and you'd play it for like 2 minutes, and it would clean up the tracking. So you wouldn't have to track so much. Jason Elias Voorhees says, what has happened so far? The game crapped out. Again, I got kicked out of a game during mid-game. Nothing much else has happened than that. Alright, let's continue on. Mr. I says, LOL, why? Wow. Sorry about that, misread the comment. Home One says, despite the mechanics of their games, Telltale did a great in telling stories and with franchises that Holly couldn't. Oh, I agree, man. It's just not much of a game. Then there's ones that are like go-between games. And I know this game's getting a lot of talk right now because they had some leaks. There were some leaks between Sony and Naughty Dog, whether it be an employee, and I'm not going to speak to the leaks and the rumors that we've heard about The Last of Us 2, but I'm going to talk on The Last of Us 1. I'm definitely in the minority here, but I think that game is boring. The story is good, but the gameplay is pretty slim. I was not impressed. So there's a hot take on The Last of Us. But I do enjoy the Telltales. The Walking Dead series, the first one was awesome. But it's more like watching a story unfold rather than playing straight in the game. For what it was, it's just, I don't think those types of games have very much replay value unless you want to go back and relive the story. Which, if you do, that's cool, man. That's all good for those who want to. I just prefer a game where you can go back and play it over and over and over again and get that same feeling that you did the first time. Mr. I says, I don't agree with the hate this game gets. F13 is more of a game for social old school gamers. It's not for the graphic junkies who don't like team games. No, I agree. I don't mind the game at all. I mean, that the game was just unfinished. Because I remember watching the alpha. Like, the alpha was completely different. Some of the characters looked different. Kenny had red hair in it. The rooms were darker. It was darker to what it is now. Because at one time it was way too light for you. It was way too easy to see in the game. But I mean, they've improved the game a lot, especially since they updated the version of the Unreal Engine that they used. It looked a lot better after that, ran a lot smoother. And for what it is, being like a Kickstarter game, basically, I still give it credit, and I love the game. But I can see the flaws. I accept it for the flaws and all. That's a good way of putting it. Where are the keys? Inti says, I just worked somehow. Stacy Bycroft. Hey, Stacy, what's going on? Says, hi, everyone. Pete, you got it. It's them escaping the fire when Angela saves Bandit. Oh, yeah. Save Bandit! Throws it up into the rafters and it crashes back through. That's it. It's not Garbage, it's Bandit. Garbage was the first cat. That's it. That's where I was wrong. I'm like, it doesn't sound like... I'm trying to play the line in my head, but it didn't... And it's Angela. I screwed up. I think I called her Andrea. I knew it as soon as I said it. I was like, wait a minute. It's not the character's name. But thank you for clarifying that, Stacy. Mr. I says, board games too, and I have associations that hate co-op games. They tend to like boring miniature games. I like them, the thematic games with a horror theme. Agreed. And Jason Lyons before he says, yeah, my laptop was almost dead, so I had to leave it and let it charge. No worries, man. It was a good time to charge because I'll be fully honest. That stream was poop. It needed to be reset and find a new connection. I don't know what it is with the 8 o'clock is like the witching hour for YouTube right now. You just don't go on at that time. Where the hell is Jason? Why am I still alive? I'm just walking around. Inti says the last ma'am too. Like I said, I'm not gonna speak too much on the everything that's going on with that game right now and just let the chips fall where they may. But he also says, Telltale Games, digital pick-your-own-adventure books. That's a great way of putting it, Inti. And I loved pick-your-own-adventure. Choose-your-own-adventure. Choose-your-own-adventure, but I also remember Which Way books. Those were both great. And I remember Time Travel. I think it was called Time Traveler, where it was that type of thing. You were traveling through time. But those were great books. Jason Elias Voorhees says Watch Dogs 2 is good. Another point, it's really kind of a point-and-click game. And I know this game is kind of cheese and it gets the feels going, but I remember playing it when I first got my PlayStation 4, but Valiant Hearts, a game that's based on like World War One. Oh my god. With the guy and the brothers and the dog. Jeez. The feels are real. Mr. Matthews says, I really like the Telltale walking game. Made me cry like a little tiny girl. I hear you, man. That's what I'm talking about. The feels are real in those games.
Is that a person?
I enjoyed all of it. Oh, just camping. Look at this idiot camping. Lindica. Camp that phone part. Camp that phone part. But no, like I said, they're not bad games. They're just not something that I would play through repeatedly unless they were really, really good. Like the first Walking Dead game.
Fix it. I'm out of here.
Just Alliance 4, he says someone just died. Yep. I just died as well. Home One says if you could make a game, it would be Spider-Man and GTA meets Telltale Games. The script sections would be more like Telltale, where the rest of it would be more open world. That would be great. It would be a massive undertaking. But I agree with you, Mega, on that if you could get a game where you had an equal balance of open world sandbox plus the Telltale storytelling and being connected into the game like that, where you had to choose your own path. Because I remember way back I used to play, I remember holding on to old technology even after like Super Nintendo came out, and I'd be playing like text-based games on my old 386 computer that I picked up at a garage sale. But I remember it's Commodore 64 days. If Bollocks was here this week, you might know the game. But I remember one of my favorite games back then was a very basic game like that. It was called Law of the West, where you were a local sheriff in a town, and you had to interact with the different characters, and how you answered determined how the game came out. So you could piss people off, or you could be friendly with them. You could try to instigate fights, like shootouts, because you had a 6-shooter. And if you did that, the 6-shooter, like you would have an option of pulling the gun up to shoot the person. Of course, the harder the game got, the easier it is for them to shoot you before you even got the gun out. So you would have to learn how to negotiate, or you would be dead. Jason Lies for he says, "Oh yeah, it is. You must be invisible to him right now." Just camping. Just camp the phone part. Mr. I says those books were awesome. Don, do you remember the adventure novel book where you needed dice to play?
Come to mommy, Jay.
No, I.
Come to mommy.
I do not remember that. Was it based like early like Dungeons and Dragons type of where you had to roll the dice to move the story along? So I think I've played similar games to that. Jason Elias Voorhees says, "Yeah, oh yeah, that game hit. Valiant Hearts hits you right in the heart, and what I meant. No, man, I hear you. I hear you. I know it's a fun game too, and that was very similar to the Telltales, where you would move the game along, you'd get to a certain point, and you'd have to press a button repeatedly, or I think you would move one of the D-pads around, not the D-pads, the sticks, like the R3, and move it around, the analog." Way to camp that. Like, I just want to trash talk Lindica, but I'm not gonna. I'll let that go. Home One says it would be like Infamous. The Telltale aspects are similar to the karma system, but that became less of a thing after the first game. The path hardly affected the story, but not in this one. Jason Elias Voorhees says, "I'm Multit." Mr. I says they had choose your own way novels that you needed 6 ciders for. Ah, okay. Gotcha. Well, no, I didn't. I missed out on that, unfortunately. But I remember those books that you'd eventually learn them. You'd learn them back to front, or front to back. Then you would know which way. Like, yeah, like, am I really gonna go that far? I don't know. Because you go to this page, you're like, yeah, I don't think so. And then you're like, why not? And they're like, ugh. Or just you're laughing about it because you know what the turnout is going to be. Mr. Matthews says, wasn't Valiant Hearts like a tactical RPG like FF Tactics or Advanced Wars? Similar to that. But I don't think I don't remember having stats. I remember it was tactical like that, where you got into a fight and you had to press certain combinations to do what you needed to do. But I'm pretty sure your characters didn't have stats. It's been a long time since I played it. Like, since I first picked up the PS4, it was one, other than Destiny and a couple other games. It was one of the first games that I played on it, but I don't remember having like a health bar or stats. Jason Lies 4, he says, multitasking, I'm watching this and playing a game I'm really good at. Ah, no worries. What are you playing? Oh, my dog jumped on me when I typed this. Nice. Well, dogs are always good with me. I've got a dog back there. She's sitting on the couch. You can see her when the light's better, but she's back there. Mr. I says, Ravenloft is pretty much gothic horror Dungeons and Dragons. So awesome. I remember Dungeons and Dragons as a kid. I remember the show, the cartoon, if you remember that. And then everything got banned after that. I remember there was, I think it was an Atari game. I remember there was an Intellivision game. But there was other systems that had, and it was just like, no, you can't play, no, you weren't allowed to play Dungeons and Dragons outside because there was that urban legend that some kid got killed, or maybe it did happen, but someone got killed playing Dungeons and Dragons. Mr. I says, no, sorry, Mr. I have read your comment already. Jason Elias Voorhees says, Kiki. That's the rest of your name. Assassin's Creed Rogue. I don't think I've played that one. I used to play Assassin's Creed all the time. And the PlayStation 3. We're going to leave that room and go back in another one because there's no one there. And I'm going to be back in 2 seconds after I get a refreshment. But I'm just going to read these comments first. Jason Elias Voorhees, J-E-V. I think I'm going to call you J-E-V because it's easier to pronounce if you don't mind, man. That is what I'm playing. I'm really good at the game. Nice. It's always good when you master that game, no matter what system it is, whether it would be an older system or a more recent or a newer system, like, I mean, a more contemporary, like your Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4. But when you master that game and you can just walk through it, it's a good feeling. M says, Stacy says, hi, Jolie. She's not sure how the name is spelled. That's close, but it's She's from Alabama. She's rescued from Alabama, and I never changed her name. I got her this way. Her name is the word Joe and then Lee. So Joelee. Jolie. I shall return in a moment. I'm just going to grab a refresh on the drink.
Hola, mujer, alguna mujer. No hay mujeres. Si no hay mujeres me voy.
What?
No girls.
Yes, yes.
Yes, who? Verlassen.
All right, I'm back. And I turned my microphone back off mute. I'm with it tonight, everyone. I'm with it. Mr. I says, no, that was laser tag. The cops thought the kid had a real gun. That too. I remember that one. But I remember Dungeons and Dragons also. The Satanic Panic Raid'em. That your dad made it clear that you should never play D&D because it makes kids kill each other. JEV, I do not mind if you call me that. Well, thank you. Thank you. Mr. I says laser tag would be awesome. Laser tag was great in the day, man. I remember in high school, I worked, in a later part of high school, I worked in a laser tag place where I repaired the packs. I am not certified by any means, but I had a buddy that worked there. And we would go in there and we would work on the packs because I was somewhat handy with the soldering iron at the time. Not as much so now, but that was it. So I would play for free. That was the point of the story. Just get the packs working and then we play for free. Paid minimum wage, but hell, all the coke, candy, and laser tag I can find? Damn right. Sign me up. GV says, hi, how are ya? Johnny! What's going on, man? Johnny says, hey, all. Thanks for coming in, Johnny. We got things to talk about. The premiere of Joe Bob's Drive-In. That was crazy. That was a good one. I like that. Jericho should be there more often. I thought it would be a good thing, but turned out to be even better. Mega says, did my comment on the adventure book I have show? I don't think it did, man. I didn't. The last comment I saw you talk about was Telltale Games. So if I missed it, I apologize, but I don't think I did.
Did anyone else get away?
Jeeves says you can call me that. Sounds good, man. Thank you. Johnny says trying to log into Shudder at the same time. Yes. And Mr. Matthews says, no, it did not, Mega. Yep, there's confirmation. That wasn't me missing a chat. Mr. I says, yeah, the Christians said it was devil worship. That was pretty much everything at the time, I remember. Mega says, thanks, I'll try it under TechCom. Mr. I says, a kid's dream job. Really, man? Like I said, it was later on. I was probably in like grade 11 at the time. But still, like, sign me up. Tech says, actually I have an adventure book called Time Machine 3 Sword of the Samurai. That's it! Time Machine, Mega! You got it. That's the series I was talking about. I have those, and I have that book. You travel back in time to the year 1615 to try and collect a katana. Your path is how you collect it. Is it? Yeah, man. I've read that book. I know exactly what you're talking about. Time Machine, because there was a dinosaur one, a knight one, Sword of the Samurai, and I think there was like a space, like I want to see when the space shuttle. Sorry, that was a lot of likes. But I was stretching my memory. Johnny says, finally able to log in. I didn't see Jericho's segment only after one break, but decided against it because I was watching with my mom. My mom is cool, but even I felt it was too much to watch together. Oh, God. Especially the movie he picked. That's basically like a soft... Even more, man. That was like a stag film. Never mind softcore. And Tex says, awesome. Yeah, man. That book was great. I remember it. Mr. I says, dude, Dungeons and Dragons was amazing during 2nd edition. I remember our dungeon master used to run through games through the night. We would game from 8 p.m. till the next morning. Yeah, man, you just keep going. JEV says, who, me? I mean, who here likes Detroit Become Human? That I have in my library on my PS4, but I haven't played very much of it. But I remember I had a buddy, when it first came out, played a ton of it. It looked pretty decent. That looked like a decent game. Mr. I says, I read that one too. Oh, the Time Machines? Oh yeah, man. That was a great series. Tex says, my stepdad Brian got it for me because he knew of my love for Japanese culture, like the Ninja Samurai Shogun and feudal Japan. Yeah, exactly, man. Blue Shogun. Your fanfic. Johnny says, I will watch Jericho's segment tonight or tomorrow. She was cool with Shopping Mall. We'll watch tonight. Oh, well, I guess we don't know what movies they're showing tonight. So I was about to say, what movies are they watching tonight? And I'm like, they haven't announced it. They're always a surprise. But no, I'm looking forward to... I haven't watched the third movie. I watched Shopping Mall, and I watched the second one. What the hell was it called? But I had heard of it before, but I hadn't fully seen it, and yeah. But I'm not sure what the third movie was. I have not had a chance to watch it myself. Looking forward to today's episode. Catching up on it over the weekend. Mr. I says, choose your own books was like role-playing for one. It was, man. That's why I like the Witch Way books a little bit more, because they were like a horror themed. So while everybody was playing Choose Your Own Adventure, which were cool, don't get me wrong, but the Witch Way books had stories with like Frankenstein's monster, like the werewolf, that sort of thing. I was like, yes, I can get into this. So even as that, I want to say I started reading those in like kindergarten. That I was well on my way to becoming obsessed with horror. Maniac? With Tom Savini. Wow. Wow. This season is off to a great start. Tom Savini is awesome. Not just like his special effects work and what he's done in movies, but just the dude seems awesome. But I'm definitely... Now I'm really excited to see it, Johnny. GV says I have it. Is pretty good because you play as an android and your choices make you become more and more human, and it's pretty sentimental at sometimes, but you should try to play it all. I think you might like it. I agree. That's one of the games that I've got so many because I've got the PlayStation Plus. I've got so many games in my library that I need to get to. It's ridiculous. I just have like a laundry list of games that I need to get to. But then I just keep playing through the same games. Like every night we play a horror game here, Crystal Lake Fridays. But when I'm not doing that, like right now I'm practicing an NES game. I'm playing it like every day. My playtime. My playtime. But I will definitely check it out. Thank you for the recommendation. It sounds pretty cool. Text says, not really a fanfic so much as my own original story. I had crossover fanfic ideas, but then I opted to take those ideas to create pastiches of my own favorite franchises for him to change to the better. Oh yeah, man, I know. Sorry if I used the wrong term. I didn't mean anything towards it. I know you've put a lot of work into it. It's all your own stuff, but it's just that I wanted to recognize that you've been working on it for so long. Mr. I says, if you're into horror and role-playing, you've got to read up on the Ravenloft campaign settings. I should check that out. Ravenloft. GEV says, so do I. Oh, the games, yes. Or the PlayStation Plus, then you know what I'm talking about. Oh, free add to library. And then you go in your games, you're like, oh yeah, I do have that. Text says, pastiche equals a pastiche of work, of visual arts, literature, theater, or music that imitates the styles or characters of the works of one or more other artists. Yep. And unlike parodies, pastiche celebrates rather than mocks the works it imitates. But sometimes parodying can be just as good as honoring it too. A good parody, there's nothing wrong with a good parody. But there's always lines. Sometimes you cross a line. Sometimes you don't go too far. You don't go far enough. Like one of the shows that is all parody in my opinion, and like some current comedy from the current climate that we're in, but is Archer in the last 10 years. That's a great parody. Parody of James Bond, other spy movies, other like it's to the point where it's just like different old TV or movies in the series now, up to where it is. But at its heart, that's what it was. It was a parody, but it was also honoring everything that came before, you know. Text says, after all, since my ideas for Terminator will never be implemented in the Terminator franchise, why not take them to create my own version and make it better? But yeah, exactly. Why not? Johnny says, think I will give in tonight and pre-order the new official 4K Blu-ray release of Rad before it sells out. Yes, Rad. We were talking about that for a while here. All right, here we go, guys. Sorry, guys. Put the cough button on for that. And cover my hand. GV says, yeah, I have 167 total games and 40 of them I need to play. Also, I count how many games I have because I have 2 big bookcases. Nice. Text says, Archer Vice was not a good season in my humble opinion. It was too different and un-Archer-like. I can see that. I enjoyed it though, because of what it was, the movies that it was referencing in it. But I feel like a lot of the show is like that now. It's very un-Archer-like. I don't know why they're... I haven't seen the most recent season, but some of the recent seasons, they've changed the direction of the show. And it's just not the same. GV says that are almost filled. The bookshelves, nice. Johnny says, heard about Maniac a lot, but have never seen it. Could it be interesting? Whenever I think about Maniac, I think of Maniac Cop. I'm more familiar with that movie, but I'm pretty sure I have seen Maniac as well. All right. Let's not get killed too quickly, guys. They're all over there. Going after the phone box, I think. Yeah.
Please no! Like that asshole!
Get up, Jason. Find them. Kill them. They want to hurt you, Jason. Don't let them.
Just die!
Keep from me, Jason. Don't let them.
You want some more?
Jason, you know what you're doing.
Starting to get salty.
You cannot die. You can never
I screwed
die.
up the morph as well. Ugh. Mr. Matthews says, I never got into Archer, but I enjoyed Venture Brothers for the first couple seasons. Guarding the damn phone box. Johnny says Maniac Cop is pretty fun.
They're back, Jason.
Really?
Don't let them find me.
How did you get through there?
You like that
They want
asshole?
to hurt you, Jason. Don't let them.
Ready to leave the match. Cause
Help! Oh God!
yes, yes, no death. You guys are all done. There goes the sweater. Say goodnight, Chad.
Deserve to die, Jason.
Really, I was blocking there. I was blocking. Sorry, guys. I'll catch up in the chat in a minute. I am officially salty. Now I'm stuck in a damn tree. Ah, almost had him because he stumbled.
Jason, you know what you're getting. No matter what they do, you cannot die. You can never die.
God damn it. God damn it.
They're trying to take me, Jason. Stop them.
What the heck? Didn't I already kill them?
No!
I got trolled. 2 people escaped.
Kill for mother.
At least I got an easy kill. Come on. Let me morph. I hate when it does this. Sometimes you on the map and then it won't let you morph until you reset it. Meanwhile, people are always already running out. Text says, what a jawbreaker. Like I said, I'll catch up with the rest of the chat in a minute, but I got shook there. So I'm letting way too many of them off the hook.
Jason, my boy, do you know what your gift is? No matter what they do to you, you cannot die. You can never die.
What? What the heck is this person doing? Well, that was an easy one. There goes your Tommy cover.
Boy, hunt them down and make them pay.
Oh my god!
God damn it, I'm on the rock.
Jason coming. ¿Qué están haciendo ya?
Tiffany only takes 2 pocket knives before she gets hurt. Oh, just moved. But she's also really fast. I'll give her that. Backing up towards the Chad. That's how pathetic this game is now.
No!
Cuidado, cuidado, cuidado. Jason push you.
Ah, so close.
They deserve to die, Jason. Make them suffer. They want to take you from me, Jason. Don't let them.
Oh, come on with the double pocket knife. Are you kidding me?
Corre.
Get up, Jason. Find them. Kill them.
Mata.
I'm officially salty. I have no more time for that. Just leave, dickheads. Excuse the language, but come on. I'm sorry, guys, but I'm not gonna. GEV says that are almost filled. Yep, Johnny, we're talking about Maniac. We've already read these comments. Sorry, guys. JV says, I'm one of those types of gamers that play a really long story of games and get halfway through in the story in a day. That's always good, man. Mr. I says, wasn't there horror multiplayer RPG, the open world called Secret World? That one doesn't ring a bell. Anybody else hear about that game, Secret World? JV says, I have this game because I'm a big Friday the 13th fan. Same here, man. I've had it since day one. Couldn't wait for it to come out. Mr. S says, me too. JV Johnny says, but best movie with cop in the title is Robert Czar is obviously Samurai Cop. Oh yes, Mr. Matthew says, oh well, Johnny was about to ask you if you like Samurai Cop. Johnny says, like it on Blu-ray. Mr. I says, Jason should be able to drive the car and kill counselors by running them over. Really? He needs some type of power-up. He's so powered down in the game now. It's ridiculous that people can just troll like that. I'm just going to let that go. If you're going to insult me, at least put it in more than just one language. We could put that in the translator, but I already see puta and puerta, so I have an idea. If it was in French, I could probably translate it, because I'm Canadian. We're not as familiar. But I get the sense of what you're saying, or the gist of it. Texas says, what a jawbreaker. Mr. I says he's dying. That's what he was doing. Mr. Matthew says, after the NES, you were a Genesis guy or an SNES guy. I know we talked about that a few weeks ago, but I forgot what you said. Mr. I says, nice punch. I always do that when they're grouped together because that's the quick kill. So you don't have to find it in the map. Like you don't have to walk around and wait for it to highlight. I know that one's always going to be available, so I'm spamming. Spamming that O button. Bam, bam, bam. Spam and circle. Spam and circle. Tex says, hey, if you gotta cuss, you gotta cuss. Sometimes, man. So I try to keep it. Try to keep it. Tex says, what's Samurai Cop? And GEV says, same. Fill him in, guys. I still have the Discord picture up of Bandit. Save Bandit! I'll have to show that one to Rebecca tomorrow. She's an Office fan as well. But no. Hopefully we're not, and I guarantee these people that play like this have their selection to be not Jason. It's like turned down. You can't be Jason. Or less chance of you being Jason while the other people are going to be Jason. It's like, come on, dude. Like, if you're going to play the game, have it at least in the middle. I think we have it turned up so we as Jason as often as we can be. Mr. I says, yeah, look it up. The Secret World. It's a PC open world game. That's what I was just typing. So let's see. I was just clicking on. Trying to get Google to work. Google, how does that work? I told you. I'm going to be Jason again. Because they don't want to be Jason. Because they suck. No. The game glitched. And we're Mitch. How the hell are we Mitch?
I have to escape.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Secret Worlds, that is. I'll bring it up in the next break. Catch up on the chat. Says, JV says, save Bandit! That's a great show. That's leaving Netflix this year. Fortunately, I have most of the seasons on. Up to season 6, I have on DVD. After Michael leaves, the first time, it's not really the same. Still decent, but not quite the same. Johnny says, whoa. Samurai Cop is the greatest good movie about samurai white guys that is supposed to be a cop. Mr. Matthew says, who sometimes has real long hair, sometimes it's a wig. Mr. Matthew says, what Castlevania did you like better, Castlevania 4 on SNES or Bloodlines on the Genesis? If you're asking me, it would be Castlevania 4, because I've played Bloodlines now, but I didn't play it back in the day. I'm the one who had the Genesis, and I didn't buy that game. Not that I didn't want it, I was just trying to limit the purchases. Genesis games were expensive at the time. And that was like when I had gotten to the allowance. I had gotten to the allowance stage, so it was no dice other than that, pretty much. Unless it was a special occasion. GV says that happens to me a lot most of the time when I'm playing Jason. Playing this, I'm Jason mostly. Well, you have the thing. You have that selector. Tech says if the game glitched, there's a chance the session will conk out. Always, man. That's what I hate it. Whenever I see the game glitching. Because the game could just die out, and I don't understand the appeal. And I'm Mitch, so what am I going to do? Run around and get stoned? Like, there's not a smoke weed option in the game. So I'm pretty useless. Inti says, I'll say Castlevania 4. Mr. I says, one of the best storylines in a video game was BioShock and Xbox 360. Nice. And Johnny says, if you search for Samurai Cop on YouTube, it should be the first thing that pops up and you can watch it in full. Nope, Jason is over there. Let's not go this way. And JEV says, yeah. Because I think we were talking about the settings in this game when you can choose what you want to spawn as. The preference. Let's just hide out in the cemetery and wait for someone to call the cops. That's Mitch's best contribution to this game. Hide somewhere and wait for someone to do everything. Because I can understand that they wanted to add some characters because they added Shelly and they added Fox. But then I saw they were adding Mitch. I'm like, Mitch? Like, and that's another character from part 3. They might have been going through all the movies. I think that's what they were doing. They were going to do part 3. But why didn't they start with part 2? Why didn't we get a Paul or a Chrissy? No, Chrissy's part 3. Sorry. Sissy? No. Why am I blanking on that? The final girl in part 2. Totally drawn a blank. But we didn't get any of the characters from part 2. And then it's all from part 3. And I think they were going to go on to the other movies before the lawsuit. But that is the past. JV says, I'm that one friend in the friend group that has the best. Or the BES, the best. M says, I love BioShock. I did not like the BioShock 2. It made me mad. And he says, I saw Samurai Cop. I don't understand the hype. Mr. I, have you ever seen that movie Insidious? Yep. I've seen it. Only once, though. JEV says, games that my friends want to play but do not have. Is what I was going to say. Ah, okay. Yeah, gotcha. Mr. Matthew says, is that the Bagul movie? And Inti says, Insidious had the Darth Maul demon. Mm-hmm. And Sinister, yes, Inti. Sinister had Bagul. Crown Victoria, what's going on? Alice. Alice was the first one. Ginny, that's it. Thank you, Crown Victoria. You jogged my memory. Because Alice was the first final girl, Ginny. That's because it's not Jenny, Ginny. But she could have been in it, or I guess you could have had. Was Jeff the guy in the wheelchair, or the guy that got stabbed while banging his girlfriend? That I can't remember exactly. One of those characters' names is Jeff. Mr. M says, thanks again. That's it. And Mr. I says, that movie scared the crap out of me when I first saw it. And Mr. Matthews says, that's what happens when movies have really vague titles. Yes, indeed. So what have we accomplished here, people? Nothing? Really? You're like calling the cops and have both cars repaired against me and you're not doing anything? Like, what happened? Pick it up, everyone. I expect better of you. All of you. Random players that can't hear me. Johnny says, I thought the first of Insidious was legit creepy and intense, but the second half really let me down. When Mitch runs, it's like he's running. His walk motion, like his run motion in the game, is super fast, but he's so slow. He looks like he's running fast, but he takes forever to get somewhere. Mr. Matthews says, horror movies and romantic comedies are notorious for absolutely forgettable titles. Yep. Mr. I says the first one was a masterpiece. And Jason GEV says Jeff was played by Kevin Bacon and was banging his girlfriend and they both got stabbed in the bed. Kevin Bacon, I think, was in the first one. He played Jack, and his girlfriend was Marcy. Marcy is the girl that got killed in the shower. And Jack, Kevin Bacon's character... Kevin Bacon's character is the one who got the arrow through the neck. The Tom Savini kill. That, because part one was Tom Savini FX. JV says, I think. I'm pretty sure the guy's name is Jeff. Is the dude in that one in part two when he's with his girlfriend in the bed. Gets the spear. And that was one of the first kills of the series. And they talk about part 7 and part 8 getting mutilated by the Motion Picture Association of America. But there was a blueprint for that. There was a work print for that scene that was way extended that they didn't include. They chose to take it out. The censors didn't make them take it out. But that kill should have been a lot more graphic. The bad kill with the spear. Mr. I says, especially the ending of Insidious. And Mr. Matthews says, Johnny, that's how I felt about the platform. Inti says, guy in the wheelchair was Mark. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. That's it. Who had the little handheld games. The Mattel electronic handheld games. Inti says, guy in the wheelchair. Yeah. And it was ironically the most athletic guy in Friday the 13th NES. Still the best. Chrissy and Mark. Mr. I says when he chokes her to death in another creepy cult classic with Event Horizon. Yes, man. I think we talked about that maybe the first night that you came in. Event Horizon's a great one. Tex says, anyone ever seen Wild Things? Kevin Bacon got to show his bacon off in that. Yes, yes. And Matt Damon was in that as well. But Nev Campbell was also in that. Nev Campbell and Denise Richards. And come on. It's a 90s movie, Wet Dream. Car destroyed? You maniacs! Damn you all to hell! You blew up the car! Now we're dead. For sure. Mr. Matthews says, in the theater, Mega. And JEV says, oh yeah, it's been a while since I watched the early movie, so my memory on it is kind of bad. No worries, man. Like, I was messing up with Chrissy and Sissy, and I couldn't place the name. Ginny, I still can't get it right. It's all good, man. Johnny says in Savini's head goes boom. Ah. We're never getting out of here, gentlemen. We are dead. Let's just face facts. We're not going anywhere. Mr. Matthews says nearly not as much nudity as we were promised. That's for sure. Except for the dick shot. Except for the D shot. I hear you, man. Mr. I says, yep, love that film. I remember that we were talking about it. And I can't even pick that. Oh, I thought the game was going to glitch. And JEV says the early F-13 movies I meant. No worries, man. Out of all of them, from the early ones, from say the first part 8, because part 9 is where we really took a leap. Out of the first 8, part 1 and 2 are probably the ones I've seen the least anyway. Part 3 is when the series started getting really good. Part 2 has its moments, don't get me wrong, and I think Sackhead's a freaky Jason, but... Text says if you can find the fuse and call the cops, you can still escape. Text says, why haven't they mentioned the Christies, owners of Crystal Lake, since the first film? Right? They had that in the script, and then they just let it go. It's like, who? They could have had, you're right, man. They could have other Christie characters. They could have other family members continually trying to open the camp. They could have had something like that in part 6. They could have had a Christie in that. Saying, this isn't Camp Forest Green. This is Camp Crystal Lake. Mr. Matthews says another creepy film was 30 Days of Night. Yep. And Ninty says, OG Planet of the Apes is still the best. Damn right, man. Damn right. I just watched that recently. Every once in a while I go through a Heston kick. So I watched the trifecta that, well, Planet of the Apes was 70s, and I don't... Beneath the Planet of the Apes is a good movie, but he's in the movie for like 10 minutes. Even though he's top billed. But the Heston trifecta from the late 60s into the 70s of Planet of the Apes, Soylent Green, and the Omega Man. All great movies. Text says, I often wish I was the guy in that threesome with Nev Campbell and Denise Richards. Well, that was the 90s, man. Mr. Matthews says, I really liked Escape from the Planet of the Apes too. Yes! That's probably the best after the first one. Escape was probably the best. Don't talk to me about Battle and Conquest. Those have some moments as well, but... Jesus. Those are bad movies on the most part. But, yeah. What's it? What? Grape juice? The joke about the wine. Grape juice plus or something? Getting Vera drunk on the wine? Or Kira. Is it Kira? Yeah, I think it's Kira. They called it Grape Juice Plus. Put another shot in. Vera and Cornelius. It is Vera. Travel back to modern times and meet Khan. Exactly. And then Khan's in Battle for the Planet of the Apes or Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. I can't remember the two. I always mix them up. Part 4. He's in it for like 10 minutes. JV, did you know if my memory is right, Savini Jason is meant to look like after Jason goes to hell, he comes back with Lucifer pitchforks that he... Yep. Exactly. That's what it is. Pried from Lucifer's hands. That was his idea. That was totally his idea. Because they got him back. They got him back to do all the kills and the effects when they made this movie, the guy from Gun Media. And as a thank you, they let him design that Jason. I said, here you go, man. Design away. And I never got it. There was that one day it got released in the PlayStation Store and I was at work. It's like, no! Got leaked accidentally. Accidentally. One of the staff at PlayStation turned it on. for a few hours. Tech says, "Oh, if you can use the table to keep Jason at bay until the timer runs out." Oh, I'd rather just get killed, man. I hate doing that thing because I hate being Jason and chasing after people doing this, just walking around furniture. Furniture should not be an obstacle, not to Jason Voorhees. I never saw Jason get tripped up by a couch in a movie. Mr. Matthews says, I really wanted some gratuitous Denise Richards full frontal, but all we got was a bunch of side boobs. Well, that was another thing in the 90s and their early aughts or knots or whatever they're referred to as, is that all it was side boobs. I remember that site, the Side Boob website, where it would tell you what movie had what. JEV says in that he was all burned and has hellfire in him from down in hell. Yep. Tech says back when R-rated movies earned that R rating, nowadays a movie is R-rated just for mild profanity. Deadpool was the first in a while to push it though. Still no boob shot. GV says I got it. Right before it was gone. Nice! Nice, man. That's awesome. I remember seeing that on Twitter and I was like, no! It's like, I need to get home! No! Mr. Matthews says there were quite a full-on boobs in Deadpool, in the strip club. Yep. Nope. I thought I felt a breeze. My dog is beside me saying hello, so sorry, I'm just going to pause it for a minute. We might actually make the timer by the way this is going. Mr. Matthews says if Jason can explode through a wall or a door, he should be able to wade right through a couch or a table. Exactly, man. Maybe not before you're in rage, but in rage you should be able to break through stuff. If you can break through a door or a wall, you should be able to break through a couch or a table. 100% agree. Johnny says Savini interview happening now. Nice. That'd be a great interview. Again, just like Jericho. You got Bob there talking. Oops. Joe Bob doing his thing and Darcy interjecting every once in a while. Yes, I used the term interjecting. Tech says, yeah, Mr. X and RE2 remake has that same problem. Leon and Claire can keep him at bay with the table. That just shouldn't happen. Shouldn't happen. Like, Mr. I says, yeah, really long. Oops. Not 100% sure what we were talking about, so I'll come with the Michael Scott quip. That's what she said. JEV says, I know my friend was destroyed when I told that Savini Jason was gone. Also, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. I just had to say that at least once. No worries, man. I love Dodgeball. That's a great movie. And Rip Torn in that character role. Dodgington. What is this character's name in that? Something like that. Something ridiculous. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Dodge a ball. Well, Devil May Cry, we escaped. Daniel couldn't find us.
All done now, Jason. Your job is through. Return to mommy.
Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Yes, Jolie. Yes. Sorry, let's get back to the chat. And Mr. I says, you know what movie was creepy too? Devil. Devil. That sounds familiar. I'm going to have to Google that. Can't place that off the top of my head. Right after I get finished paying attention to my dog because she won't let me not. Mr. Matthews says, Rip Torn. Rip Torn. You had a fun voice. Yeah, the guy was awesome. And Tech says, wow, Jason couldn't find you. Yay, Pete. I think he might have given up because he had 4 kills there for a while. Is this the movie that we're talking about, Mr. I? Devil? Also known as The Night Chronicles 1, Devil? Written by Brian Nelson and from an M. Night Shyamalan story. Chris Messina, Logan Marshall Green, Jeffrey Arden, Bojanovic, Nokovic. Oh, yes. Bojanovic. Let's go to that Wikipedia page. Where do I know her from? Edge of Darkness. Must be another horror movies. They were trapped in the elevator. Yeah, I thought so. All right. We are going back in. I've been fighting a sneeze off for like 15 minutes. I really need to trim my beard. It's getting a little out of hand. GV says, I beat the virtual cabin and trust you should try to beat it. It was very cool. Also, there's more to the virtual cabin after you beat the first time. I still have not. I have not beaten the virtual cabin on PlayStation or on PS. And I have it on the Switch too, but I haven't made it very far in the game. But I should check it out. I've been meaning to. Not us. Bloody Sackhead. Inti says, isn't that the one where if the sandwich falls jelly first, the devil is in the
Anyone
house?
else get away?
Yeah. Well, let's go to the far cabin. Whoa. Let's go to the replay, everyone. And Jason's right outside. Jason's outside the cabin, and we have a Jason, and we have a Spike. We have a Spike on the table. Wonder where Soy is tonight. Soy is not with us. He did not join us off the top, but all good. Everyone else is with us, and that's the important thing. Everyone's welcome each Friday to come in as they please, and if they're not able to stay the whole night, that's cool too. Mr. Matthews says Castlevania 4 is a fine game, but it really doesn't feel like Castlevania. Bloodlines and Dracula X felt more like the NES games. I've played Bloodlines, but I haven't played it enough to have that sense. Uh-oh. I'm just asking you to get killed.
Help! Oh God! Help! Oh God!
Hey, let's go hang out with Lindica. Lindica. That doesn't lock doors. NT says, I'm not joking, by the way. And Mr. I says, I don't remember that. Oh, the sandwich thing? Mr. Matthews says, I like that elevator movie. And Texas, by the way, any of you here watch the movie Predators, where the convicts are brought to the reserve planet? Are we talking about like the Predator movie, Predators? with like Topher Grace and Samurai Against the Predator. Because yeah, I am familiar. Mr. I says Darkness Falls was good too, though. To be honest, I stopped playing Castlevania after Symphony of the Night. I played that, yeah, probably around the same time. That first Castlevania game on N64, I played that. Didn't beat it. So many games that I still need to beat. Johnny says, really glad to see Streets of Rage 4 getting positive reviews. Totally worth it as a great surprise. Yeah, man, I remember you talked about that. Maybe not last week, but the week before you dropped that on us. We had no idea it was coming out. I think it might have been last week because Bollocks was here. And yeah, all I see is that it's doing great. So it's getting some great reviews. So that's really cool. GV says, I'm really good at the multiplayer version of COD Modern Warfare. Inti says, Alien vs. Predators 2 is by far the worst. Can't disagree with that. Oh, somebody's barbecuing outside, gentlemen, and it's killing me. Somebody next door is barbecuing. Come on. Come on, dude. Mr. Matthew says, agreed. Completely offensive. I hated it. What do you mean? Teenage kids team up to take on the Predator. It has that blob feel going for it. Maybe they were going for that. I don't know what they were doing with that movie, really. They made it a lot more violent. Johnny says, with Adrian Brody and Danny Trejo, best of the Predator movies after part 2. Well, it's definitely better than Alien vs. Predators. For sure. And better than The Predator. GV, the 2019 or 2018 version of Predator where they try to upgrade and evolve themselves is what they're talking about. Yeah, I think that was 2018 is The Predator with the different Predators. And who the heck was that? The diabolical one is just wandering around. Yes, indeed. The hunting reserve is Predators, and the Predator is the one with the guy from Suicide Squad. And Mr. I says, tell him to make you a plate. I wish, man. I wish. Tex says, I have an old novel that, while maybe not based on it, had a similar story in it called Hunters of the Red Moon by Marion Zimmer. Bradley published. Marion Zimmer Bradley published in 1973. Sorry. Thought that was two different thoughts. So I kept breaking it up. Car keys. Don't want to give that up. So do we have a gas canister? We do not have a gas canister. Do I have a map? I have a map. Not much has gone on yet. Mr. Matthew says, yeah, I did have a blob feel now that you mentioned it. Not in a good way, though. Yeah, I think they were trying to play on that, but it just didn't work. These have all been cleared out. Indy says, I saw the Predator on cable a couple of days ago. It's far worse than I remember. Olivia Munn running around like a commando, even though she's a biologist, certain cringy. Yep. 100% agree. Like they didn't even have a period where she transitioned into a commando, where she like trained a bit. Just have a quick training montage. That's all you need to do. Did you ever watch a movie in the 80s? Shane Black, you cut your teeth in the 80s. Just have like a quick montage of her getting up to speed, but that would include being mansplained on how to use the weapon, so might not go over too well today. Like Reese and Sarah in the first Terminator with how to make the explosives, the makeshift dynamite sticks, the plastique. What's for dinner? Plastique. Tech says the Predator was funny, but a major letdown. I expected better. They're like the Predator dog, and yeah. GV says yep, and Mr. I says remember the TV shows Monsters? Oh yeah. Johnny says I don't know what it is about 80s horror movies, but I always love the low budget, gritty look of these movies as opposed to new movies with clear images and high budget. That's another thing, and it's not just the high budget; it's the resolution of today, like the 4K, even 1080p. It kind of takes away from where some of that grain adds to a good horror movie. It adds to the effect and also the mood of the mood's a bad term, but you. Oh, somebody called the cops and we're right by the exit, so I'm just gonna walk around a bit and not get kicked out. Another do nothing and just look good and strut as Deborah. I think if we dance, it counts as not just sitting there. So we'll that's that stupid popcorn or whatever. There we go. We'll do that one. But yeah, the atmosphere. That's where I was going. Not the mood. The atmosphere of a movie, having that grain on it, that little bit of grain. But especially like the low budgets, like 60s and 70s horror movies. Inti says, yep, anthology show like Twilight Zone style, not as good, but okay. Well, you're comparing it to the Twilight Zone, Inti. Like that is the show. I just recently watched all through that on US Netflix. And JV says, yep. Says, I remember that, Mr. I. Inti says, I'm a sucker for anthology movies or TV shows. Yeah, same here. Same here, Inti. Even if it's not the greatest. Johnny says, give me a low budget, gritty looking horror from the 80s and 70s any day. The gritty look they add so much, adds so much to scary edge of the film. Agreed. Like Black Christmas or the first Silent Night, Deadly Night. I don't know why the holiday movies came to my mind. Oh, we're going to get kicked out. Dancing does not count towards idle time, apparently. Maybe it just extends it. Texas indeed. Olivia Munn is hot, but I hear she's such a drama queen. Any truth to this? Somebody's already called Tommy. And then Tex says, yes, thank you, Pete. Sarah actually had to learn how to be a badass fighter. She didn't just pick up it on the fly like Olivia Munn. Yep, exactly. That seems awesome. Like learning how to make the explosives, how to fire the gun. Well, not fire the gun, but how to hold it. Inti says, but the recent Twilight Zone revival was complete garbage. I didn't make it past the first episode as soon as they brought a leftist comedian in their opening episode. I was out. I hear you, man, but that's when I was streaming with Cub and Jez all the time in the DLC, and I watched every one of those episodes 3 times. Since I was the host, I needed to know the most about the content, so I would sometimes watch an episode 3 times. The majority of them I did. And they were more painful each time. That show was terrible. Try not to swear tonight, but that show was just god-awful. JEV says, be right back and grab a snack. Sounds good, man. I'm almost ready for one with the damn barbecue outside. Hopefully you can find some good ones. Mr. says, I recently got hooked on a TV show that was way before my time called Dark Shadows. Yes! My sister, who's a little bit older than me, Mr. I used to watch Dark Shadows all the time. And I got into that show probably like about 5 or 6 years ago. Dude, stop talking. I'm trying... But no, Dark Shadows is a great one. That's a great show. And he says, a shame it's the one Twilight Zone thing I will not watch, even though the not so good 2002 revival was better. Oh yeah, man. Agreed. Mr. Matthews says, I did not like their take on Nightmare at 10,000 feet. Nope. Nope. At least they didn't touch Nick of Time. I don't know if season 2's ever been out because I totally checked out. But I remember they were teasing it every week. They would have the little devil head bouncing. And I'm like, you've already ruined 10,000 feet. You better not effing touch effing Nick of Time. Because to me, I love that episode just as much as 10,000 feet. But there's some really good episodes. There's some really good episodes in the first couple seasons, even into the third season of the original Twilight Zone. Anyone with Burgess Meredith, and not just All the Time in the World. Any episode, like the one where he played the devil, or he played the guy who had the special powers because the aliens were giving him the powers, like the lovable Mr. Dumpty or something, or the imminent Mr. Dunty. I don't remember. Mr. I says a horror soap opera. Yep, it really is. Whoa, getting kicked out again. Johnny says, I'll gladly take no Olivia Munn in my movies ever again. Can't disagree with that. All right, let's make a run for it. Hopefully the cops are right here. Can you imagine? Ah, other side. I got ripped off. Mr. I says the original Twilight Zone was awesome. My favorite episode was the one where they catch the devil. Yes. Any of the ones that have the themes like that. Like I like the one in the first season. The Catch the Devil one is really good. That's the one where they have the old guys that are looking over and the younger guy doesn't believe that he's being held in that room, in like the closed door room. So he lets them out and then he has to get him captured again. And then his maid or someone he knows lets the devil out again. The devil just keeps getting out. That's a really good one. Or the one, the devil one, first season episode where the dude's a hypochondriac and he signs the deal with the devil to never die. Can die in no way. And he's like drinking bleach and jumping off buildings. It's like wow. This is dark. I chuckle about it because it's like the dark humor side of it. But geez. Some serious themes. Serious themes. Tex says, do your neighbors invite you to their barbecues? No. And it's not technically a neighbor. I live in a couple buildings, and it's a community barbecue that's downstairs, so I could use it anytime I want, but I don't have any meat. Maybe I'll get some tomorrow. See you later, boys. And I'm out. Johnny says to support Shane Black, anyone should check The Nice Guys with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. Is hilarious. I laugh so much. Agreed. Something Shane Black does I don't care for, but I saw The Nice Guys in the theater. That's a great movie. That was a great comedy. Good movie, man. GEV says, I'm back with an ice cream sandwich. Nice. I had a drumstick today, like the ice cream. A Rolo one. So double chocolate with a Rolo center. Chocolate coated on the top. Oh, baby. Good stuff. Mr. Matthews says, I like the 80s Twilight Zone series as a kid. Too. And I don't remember if it was actually any good. I was just a stupid kid at the time. It was pretty good, man. The 80s Twilight Zone. The Outer Limits, and what else did they bring back? There was something else. But then you had Tales from the Crypt as well, in the 90s. I guess it was in the 80s into the 90s. It was also really good. NT said the 80s Twilight Zone revival hooked me up as a kid. Started my love for anthology films and TV shows. Mr. Wong's Lost and Found Emporium
Mother is talking
left
to
impact on young me.
Put the weapon down and come to
You like that, asshole?
Mr. I says, did you see the one with the bank robber who dies and he thinks he's actually in... Yes, I love that one where he's actually in hell. With like the gambling. And he just keeps winning over and over again and the girls just keep showing. It's like, you win again. That guy is awesome. I want to say that dude played the devil in the other episode with the hypochondriac. I want to say he was in both, the devil in both. It's like, Congratulations! You win again! And the Simpsons spoof on that when Homer's in hell and he's eating the donuts to forever. The infinity donut. He's got the infinity donut.
Come home, sweetie.
Tex says, whoosh, right out of the whole front gate. Oh yeah, man. Gone. I ran right by Jason. I saw he was killing somebody with a long kill. Even though my stamina was dying, I'm like, I'm done. See ya. I'm out of here. Mr. Matthews says, Inty, do you remember that episode where the two guys go into the destroyed laboratory and at the end they get eaten by a giant spider? I do not remember that episode, Em. I need to look into that. I know someone who would really appreciate that episode if she's watching. She's a huge fan of spiders. Massive spiders and fan. Mr. Matthews says, I remember that one, Mr. I. Oh, yes, you win again. Oh, yay, I win again. Oh, what's that? Another girl at the door? Yeah. Great. Inti says, that's probably the worst one of the 80s Twilight Zones. By the way, I think most of the 80s Twilight Zone episodes are on YouTube. I need to look that one up. Mr. Matthews says, aw, I'm sure it's not that bad with a giant spider. If it's an animatronic, like practical effects spider, I want to check that out. Mr. I says, LOL, yes. And Mr. Matthews says, I think it was called The Button. It was based on Richard Matheson's story. Tales from the Dark Side into, yes. That's a good one. That's a good movie, too. That has Christian Slater, I want to see is in that movie. Maybe not Christian Slater, no. What's his name? He was in The Blacklist. More recently. He was in Drive as well. No, not Spacey. Spade. James Spader. Pretty sure he was in that. I could be wrong. It could have been Christian Slater. Anyways, moving on. JV says, so he's like a fat Thanos. Homer and the Infinity Donut, really. Alright, I think it's after 10 o'clock, gentlemen. It's time for Chad. Time for Johnny Lawrence to come out. Stress is another good one. Is the one where the aliens messing with the lights and causing the neighbors to kill one another. Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't seen that one in a while. Because I think I'm just like halfway through season 3, so it might be a season 3 episode. But I remember the other alien one where the astronauts leave and then they come back to Earth and or they're on a planet that resembles Earth. And they trick them to become like figurines in like a museum. They get them to finally drink or eat something. And then they become like statues. That's creepy. That's creepy AF. Here, drink this. Here, drink this. It'll make you refresh. It'll make you feel better. Text says, whenever my dad and I played Resident Evil and we run right through past monsters that whoosh, I can do that too, Lewis YouTube. Please tell me you're not on YouTube doing that. What are you, a Lewis ASMR? Like I'm gonna tap the microphone guy? Hold on, let me find a brush to brush against the microphone. Do you like that sound of the brush, gentlemen? I almost swore. Moving on. But yeah, you run by without getting grabbed. We always say whoosh. Text says James Spader. Here we go. Kensington. Martial arts.
Now.
That's the lucky Chad. I start one game, I get the rifle. It's like, who gets the rifle? Chad does. So let's go pick a map up. Mr. I says, oh, Tales from the Crypt. It was so creepy how that show started. And JEV says, the good old Dick Chad. Yep. That's my favorite badge in the game. I think I mentioned that last week. Escaping as Chad. in the boat so many times. Chad's a dick. Texas, funny thing, my stepdad and I were watching James Spader in Boston Legal. Now we're going back and watching his debut in The Practice, a precursor to Boston Legal. Yes. I remember talking to some of the other guys in the community, Cub and Jazz, who I used to stream about. They're big fans of The Practice. They were talking to me about it. Did we see the phone box over here, gentlemen? I don't remember. I want to say no. Maybe on the big house? Let's check on the big house. Mr. I says, I remember that one. Mr. I says, dude, you know what used to be my show? Don't laugh, Goosebumps. No way, man. I'm not going to laugh at that. I love Goosebumps. I just talked about it in my episode this week of the horror news show I do on my channel called The Bits and Pieces, where I talk about horror news that's going on. But they're making a new Goosebumps show, apparently. And I was calling the article out, but I turned out to be wrong because it was talking about Goosebumps being Canadian made, where I was arguing it was Are You Afraid of the Dark, because that was my show. Goosebumps is good. I do love Goosebumps, but I love Are You Afraid of the Dark. But most of them are co-Canadian produced, apparently. Learned that. I knew one was. But yeah. And I was talking about the live action movies, the Jack Black movies. They were good too. I will watch that. So let's go down below then. Check down at the bottom of the map. That's probably where the phone box is. Mr. Matthews says the button is where the husband and his wife get the button, where if they press it, someone else in the world will die. But they'll get $50,000 or something. The twist is that next time the button is pressed, they will be the one who dies. Yes, I remember that. Mr. I says, remember Freddy's Nightmares? Yes, man, I do. I was talking to that, too. Again, I keep talking about Jez on here, but Jez and I were talking about that a little while ago. Freddy's Nightmares, that was great. Tex says, I just learned today on an article trend on my stepdad's phone that Cobra Kai 3 will be postponed until fourth quarter, October, November, December area. It makes sense with everything that's going on, but seems like things are starting to pick back up. Hopefully it continues. Inti says, Goosebumps or Are You Afraid of the Dark? Goosebumps has the new show coming out, but I had been talking about old Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark. Both of them, great stuff. The Midnight Society, man. The Midnight Society. Great stuff. JV says, you're really lucky when you play as Chad. First, you get a rifle, then you get the fuse. Now that's way too lucky. That's Chad, man. That's his best stat. Luck. Luck in being a dick. And just running around. Like, I don't even need to look at the... Mr. I said the episode with Beefy Boy. Yes. Chew me, eat me, you can't beat me. Oh, yeah, man. Mr. Inti says Freddy's Nightmare, LOL, and Friday the 13th, the TV series. Yes. Which isn't that bad. I've gone back and watched that, and for what it is, it's not a bad show at all. It's not one of my favorite horror anthologies, but it's not a bad show. I just remember it always being on like the channel guide for when I thought it would be a Friday the 13th movie, and I didn't know at that age. I'd be like, oh my god, Friday the 13th movie's on TV, I gotta watch this. And I'd turn it on and it would be like the TV show. I'd be like, yeah. Johnny says, I still have the VHS tapes of Goosebumps and the Haunted Mask. Are You Afraid of the Dark is still dope. I watch it nightly still thanks to Pluto TV. Nice, man. I think most of that's on YouTube as well, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Or at least it used to be. But yeah, man, I watched that from the beginning, like right up to the end. I think it ended like the early 2000s. Where the hell's the phone box? It better not be over in Birch's Cove today. In this game. Today. Like there's different dates. Mr. I says, yo, the Friday 13th series was amazing. The episode with the boxing gloves and the one with the scarecrow. JV says, Who has seen Little Nicky? That movie always makes me laugh. Yeah, man. That's a good one. Adam Sandler has some good movies then. I preface that with the word then, though. But Little Nicky's a good one. Tex says, before, when you were at a drawer, I noticed a classic Pepsi can. Awesome authenticity. Oh, yeah, man. They pop all that stuff in here. I love the details that they put in here. And I remember when they did the Kickstarter, you could get your pictures in some of these. Like the wall pictures. Like the hunting duck. That poor mallard. Being wasted when it could have been eaten. Somebody want to approve that message in the chat there, if they're able to. Thank you, guys. NT says, are you for the dark episode with the monster that reacts to music is horrifying for a kid's show? The one with that thing on the pool was also too much for young children. It wouldn't fly now. Nope. That's why it was great, man. That was like legit horror. Legit horror. Or the one of my favorites is the one where the girl, I think it's a girl, has the sunglasses and you put the sunglasses on, you see the other people, you see the people in like the other dimension. It's like, whoa. It's like, this is legit. I remember my buddies, and when we were watching that, were like, you're a little too old for that, man. That were horror fans as well. I'm like, no, dude, you got to check this out. Like, this is good stuff. And then they became fans. End of story. Mr. I says, I like the ideas of cursed items. Hey, Lewis, YouTube. Call the damn cops. What the hell are you doing, bro? You're in the house. Useless. Go breathe in a microphone and make fun sounds.
Jason's killing my
Fun
friends.
sounds.
Please get out here. No,
Mr. I says, I like the idea of cursed items. Remember scariest places on Earth?
Please
Yep.
help. Hurry. Help.
GEV says that one part where Nikki says, Popeye's chicken is effing awesome. Well, Popeye's chicken is awesome. The tenders? The chicken tenders with the dip? It is awesome. And he says, I never saw an episode of Friday the 13th TV shows to this day. I haven't seen it. Johnny says, nice tip on Maniac. Basically, every woman in the movie besides Carolyn Monroe is a porn star. Yep. Don't go after little old Chad, man. There's like 3 other people over there. What are you doing opening the door, stooge? Sorry. Get out of my way! Why are you so hell-bent on Chad? Ah! I'm gonna run out of stamina, guys. I don't think I'm gonna make this one. God damn it! God damn it. What are you coming after me for? Just because I called the police? Jeez. Mr. I says, Ghost Hunters used to be my show too. The episodes on YouTube are free on... Oh yeah, Ghost Hunters is a good one. Tex says, oh, I love Little Nicky. Especially my stepdad, since he likes the inclusion of Chicago, his favorite band. And GEV says, yes, it was. Oh, the tenders and dips are awesome. Yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about. Mr. I says YouTube has old radio horror shows uploaded too. I know. I've checked some of them out. Another great thing on YouTube is, what's it called? Old horror show from the 60s with Boris Karloff as the host. What's it called?
Thank God it actually fit.
I know that's on YouTube though, so you guys should check that out if you haven't checked it out yet. That's a good one. But I remember when I had Spotify, I used to have Spotify Premium, and I think you can still listen to them there, but they would have old podcasts, not podcasts, sorry, horror radio shows as well. And I remember listening to those. Spotify's got a good library of that stuff too, is what I'm trying to say. Long story short. Oh, Mr. Matthews, I missed it. Sorry, man. Erie, Indiana. How did I miss that one? I loved Erie, Indiana. That was a great show. That was like YTV was the network that co-produced Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark. That was the lineup. It would be Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark, and then Erie, Indiana. Those 3 shows in a row.
Holy shit.
Wait.
It started.
Wait.
TechCom says, don't get why there's a Friday the 13th show when it has nothing to do with Jason Voorhees or Crystal Lake. Basically, they were banking on the popularity of the movies.
Come on.
And it was made by... It was produced by Sean Cunningham, the guy who made the first couple. He wanted to take this series in a different direction. He wanted it to have nothing to do with Friday the 13th. With like Jason Friday the 13th. He wanted to have an anthology series and have it nothing to do. That's like when Part 9...
Come on.
Part 9... Oh, Lewis, YouTube, shut up. Like, this is your YouTube stream? Come on. But, he handed everything. He handed the steering wheel, the keys to the Friday the 13th franchise to his son and his buddy when they were in college. And he said the one thing to them, it says, I don't care what you do to Jason in Part 9, just get him out of that damn mask. And that's why they came up with the whole idea that he was, like, supposed to be the Deadite leading into what never happened with the mashup with Evil Dead.
Now come home.
Mr. I says, last one I watched was a lady with a cursed quilt living in Amish culture, is using to kill people in their dreams. Nice. And he says, I remember the one where this guy who has to break things on purpose or the economy collapses. I don't recall that one. Mr. Matthews says, I only remember the episode with the twins who kept in a giant Tupperware. The twins who were kept in a giant Tupperware tubs. They were the twins from Gremlins or Terminator 2. Mr. I says, because you called 5-0. Night Gallery, yes. Night Gallery is a good show as well. Or, there's a couple other ones. I remember Shudder used to have them. They don't have them anymore. The Hammer Horror. The Hammer Horrors TV series. I think it was only like 1 season, 10 episodes. That was really good. Hammer Horror. And then there was another one, another British produced one that had Roald Dahl. Like the guy who wrote the BFG and the Witches. He was like the host of it. And it was like a horror series. Oh man, that was good. That was good. That was a good series. Now I'm bugged by the name of that. Thriller. That's the name of and that's where Michael Jackson came up with the name for Thriller, is Boris Karloff's Thriller. Well, partially, but I'm sure it had a lot of horror influence. He was a huge horror fan at the time. This is a Thriller. That's on YouTube. You guys haven't seen it, check it out. But no, like I was saying, there's on Spotify, that's leading into Boris Karloff. That's where I was going with the story. I missed some spots in my memory. Is that there's some horror stories read by Boris Karloff. It's like, give me that, man. Give me all of that. If I only had his voice range, I would be doing like readings all the time. Like that's all I would do. I just get horror books and just read them on YouTube. Sorry guys, Crystal Lake Fridays is now just me reading a book. We've got Sheriff Big Dick and Deputy Long Dick. Haha. Ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Oh, I'm missing some of the chat. Hold on, guys. Let me go back. Tech says, yeah, I remember those twins, the Pescadero State Hospital security guard, Lewis, and the T-1000 mimicking him. Yep. JEV says, I will be right back. I'm going to go get some McDonald's for my little bro at the store. See you soon. No worries, man. We'll be here. We still got it. We usually go for another hour, so we will still be rocking. I mean, the restaurant. Sounds good. Mr. I says, okay. And Johnny says, still say, if anyone hasn't seen Night Killer 1990, then you just must. It's on YouTube. Night Killer. We've talked about that before. We were talking about the other day. Yes, Night Killer. That's the one that I remember that when you first came in, we were talking about that. First night you popped in. Mr. I said I had 2 huge cheeseburgers today with a salad. Nice. You gotta have that salad on this side to make you feel a bit better, right? Because I always go to Wendy's. That's the one place closer to my work. We have McDonald's as well, not too far, but closer to my work and less of a drive, like by 2 minutes is. And it's on one side where I don't have to make a left turn. I can just make a right. Is a Wendy's. The minutia of life. the adorable minutias of life. But I go there and I get like a double cheeseburger. And to make myself feel better, I'm like, no, I'm not going to have any fries. I'm going to get the salad. But I didn't do that tonight. Tonight I had a salad waiting for my food to get here. I just ordered food tonight from like Skip the Dishes, kind of like an Uber service that we have here in Canada called Skip the Dishes. And I got a place called Wimpy's, which is like a home style diner. So they have a burger that's called a junior burger, and it's like legit that big. That's their junior burger. They have a regular burger. Yeah. I love the regular burger, but I don't want to spend my entire Saturday in the washroom. So, because I usually get a large fry with it as well, so I'm good. But it was awesome. Huge junior burger and a large fry and some salad. That's what I had for dinner. So I did have burgers. So I'm in envy of smelling these people cooking burgers, but... OG says Monza time. Yes, OG. All about the Monza. I haven't driven it yet tonight, so I need to get behind that wheel. Mr. Matthews says he makes all the ladies say, oh, Greg, it's OG. Mr. I says, not from McDonald's, but my local pizza parlor. They made me my cheeseburgers with fried onions. Nice. That sounds pretty good. OG says, been lurking with phone issues. No worries, man.
Yeah, tell Santa you're sorry. I won't kill you.
I'm not gonna get killed by Jason, because I'm not a scrub like you guys. Well, I might get killed, but
doing this right.
I just like to trash talk. OG says T-bone grilled to perfection for me today. Nice. That sounds good as well. Speaking of Karloff, there's a Karloff's General Store sign right on the wall, and Sheriff Garrison's number. I don't think you want to call that guy. He did try to put the entire camp on his back, literally. Unfortunately, it collapsed on the weight of itself. Mr. Matthew says, OG, I've been sitting on that one for a while. Oh, hold on a second, guys. The chat's not scrolling for some reason. I missed some of that. Tex says, I still like my idea of a son if the first survivor, Alice Hardy, comes to Crystal Lake. Well, maybe we should close friggin' doors and you wouldn't die. Allowing Jason to satiate his bloodlust for teenagers to get his revenge and bring his mother's remains home. Oh, no, I hear you on that, man. That's not a bad idea. The TV show had themes that were similar like that. Was going to come out in the CW. Where young Jason was going to be in it, I believe. Mr. Matthews says, I'm glad to finally get it out of my system. Mr. I says, red meat for the win. Yes. And Mr. Matthews says, I love Roald Dahl books. They didn't always translate to film very well. No, I agree. Even Charlie and the Chocolate Factory didn't really do it. But Charlie and the Glass Elevator, I don't even think they made that one. But no, I can't remember the name of that one. I think Roald Dahl's name was in it. But if you guys haven't seen that and you like anthology horror movies, you should check horror TV shows, because it's more of like a thriller, but there's some pretty freaky episodes in that. Pretty freaky episode. Mr. Matthews says, I love Roald Dahl. And TechCom says, Hail OG. Canadian Daisy says, what? What about the... I thought you were talking about the animatronic spider, Canadian Daisy. And Mr. I says, that sounds awesome at dawn. It was, man. Oh my god. These guys. But no, let me just mute those idiots. Just for the record, anyone is ever checking the stream, I don't think they will. I know YouTube doesn't have many people to watch what's being made, but that wasn't me talking. But yeah, that's awesome, man. I love that deal. It's usually like my Friday night thing. Some idiot just picked that key up. I'll take that instead. And that. And Mr. Matthews says that Wendy's the best meal is the French fries dipped in the chocolate. Frosty. Oh yeah, man. Frosty's awesome. It's all about the chocolate, though. I do not like the vanilla one. Personal, like, taste if people do, but no thank you. I'm good. It's got to be the chocolate, malted. Oh, I'm running the wrong way. Text says, I think I know why Halloween 4 is my favorite despite the characters and story.
Oh my god! What happened?
Really? They were trying to run me over. Idiots. Idiots. And Mr. Matthews says that's what I thought she was talking about. Stacy is also a fan of spiders. Come through the window, idiot. Mr. I says left to check. Are You Afraid of the Dark episodes? They are on YouTube. Nice. I thought they were. But yeah, you should check that one out if you haven't seen it. The ones we were talking about. There was the one with the gnomes as well. The gnomes that keep moving. That's a good one. Or is that Goosebumps? That might be Goosebumps. And he says The Witches and Matilda were good Roald Dahl based movies. And Mr. Matthews says I thought The Witches was way too corny. But that's what the book is, man. It's like super, super corny. I enjoyed it. But I'm going to have to Google that one. The TV show that Roald Dahl helped produce. And I don't think he produced it. I think he was just introing it. He might have been like an executive producer or some jazz, but... Mr. I says, I was going to get pizza, but I had the taste for red meat. It was either burgers or a cheesesteak. Nice.
Holy shit. It started.
Get wrecked, Jason. Ah. I might kill the car going backwards, but I don't care. A 0 F's given at this time, guys. Nah. Get out of here with Roy's slow shift. play Jason with a real shift if you're gonna try to catch the car. Trash talk has begun in earnest. It's Monza time, OG. No! Almost survived. Nope. Damn it. I'm stuck. I couldn't get out. No! I was so close. Now I'm really salty. Like, give me a break. Why is it necessary? Text. Way to go, Alan Smithy. Just driving over random people, you idiots. Well, I tried to get out. Text says, Wendy's arguably has the best burgers out of every fast food joint. I agreed, man. There's a fresh off the grill, whereas others are made in advance and kept under warm light. I always get the Choco Frosty over the soda. It's all about that malted Frosty, man. Mister, I think I said mentioned the movie Stay Alive before. Yes. Older but great movie. If you're into horror and video games, you'll love Stay Alive. Mr. I says, no. Tex says, well, he got you. He did. Mr. Matthews says, see, if you didn't pause to shut the door after yourself, you would have lived. It does not pay to be polite and sensible. I know. Just like run. Leave the door open. Why are you closing the door?
Jason, Mother is talking to you. Come closer. Put the weapon down. That's it.
Mr. I says another movie I like, 13 Ghosts. Oh yeah, man. I might be confusing that with a different movie. I want to Google it just to make sure. Well, both Big Dick and Long Dick didn't last very long. Text says a lot of good that did. Oh, the using the sweater, I have no idea why would you bother doing that. Yeah, I remember this movie, 13 Ghosts. Yeah, I think I saw that in the theater. It's a pretty decent movie. Or are you talking about the original? Because I'm talking about the remake. I remember seeing that. I don't think I've ever seen the original. 1960s. William Castle. So I probably have seen it. House on Haunted Hill or whatever. And The Tingler. Mr. I says the one with the house that it was the contaminant box. Yep. All right. The remake, yes. That's the one I've seen as well. Are we off the air? No. And the guy left before I could trash talk him. Santa Claus left. Santa Claus. Oh, God. Johnny says the original 13 Ghosts was on Svengoolie not too long ago. Not a bad movie. If it's a William Castle, I may have seen it. I'll have to check it out. But the remake has Matthew Lillard and Shannon Elizabeth. I remember that. Mr. Ross says, I saw the original House on a Haunted Hill and the remake. Both were good. You're right. The remake was good. I just want to make sure because I got an error message over here in my studio and I want to make sure. But thank you, Mr. Matthews. But yeah, you're right, Mr. I. Both were good. I think the remake had James Marsters from Buffy, I want to say. Guy who played Spike. Pretty sure he was in the remake because I remember seeing that in the theater as well. Tex says, no, I meant the firecrackers upon reaching the car only for them to land ahead of her instead of next to the car. Yes. Yeah. It's just that range. You should be able to, like, tell it where to go. I knew it. It's us. Well, at least I know most of these people suck, except for Alan Smithy, who's going to be my focus, but not.
So young.
Mr. Matthews says, "You're on. You're on
So pretty.
the air. You're
Kill them
on."
all,
Jack
Jason.
Black and something. Jack Black and everything. No, I talked about that in the bits and pieces this week. That I'm not the biggest Jack Black fan, but in the right movie, he's a pretty good actor. I make fun of him, but he's not the worst. Sometimes he's just a little too Jack Black for me, if that makes any sense. Mr. Ryan, Tay Diggs and the girl from the movie where death is after them. Yes, yeah. Tay Diggs. Tex says, at Johnny's, my stepdad loves the Great Svengoolie. Problem is because we made the partial payment to Xfinity, we lost the cable, we still have the phone and internet. He misses his Three Stooges. Yeah, man. Three Stooges are great as well, man. That's another one. We usually just talk horror here, but if we want to talk like old-timey TV shows, comedy teams, and like, well, they were short reels. They were two-reeler short films, but I've pretty much seen everything in the movies with like all the original Three Stooges, up to Curly Joe Besser, and then on to the actual movies with Curly Joe Dorita. Oh. Somebody is in here. Mr. Matthews says, Jack is like Melissa McCarthy. They both can be good. They just often aren't. Whoops. What am I doing? I had that person. Ah. Oh boy, use your big gun.
You know what your gift is. No matter what they do to you, you cannot die. You can never die.
Ah, come on.
Damn it! Just
Get
die!
up, Jason. Find them. Kill them. They want to hurt you, Jason. Don't let them. Jason, you know what your gift is. No matter what they do to you, you cannot die. You can never die.
Can't even go back into defense mode.
Jason,
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get his
don't
back
let
up,
them.
Just kill him, bro.
Get up, Jason. Find them. Kill them.
Help! Oh god!
Okay, all set. Time to get out of here.
Damn it. Oh,
You like that, asshole?
God damn it.
Hurt you, Jason. Don't let them.
yo, Alan.
Keep you from me, Jason. Don't let them.
Help! Oh god!
Yo, Alan.
God damn it. Like, Deborah should not be able to break through my guard.
You cannot
Okay,
die.
all set.
What's the point of having a guard?
Out of here.
All right. You should not be able to break through the guard. Not that one of the weaker characters either. Like, come on. And then this idiot hits the tree. I think they just drove the wrong way. But they were trolling me. What the heck is he doing? Did he just kill the car?
Jason, my boy. Do you know what your gift is? No matter what they do to you, you cannot die. You can never die.
Fuck you!
God! Why I want you fucking die!
Get up, Jason. Find them. Kill them. Yes. Kill for mother. They've come for me, Jason. Don't let them take me.
Again, got past the I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Sorry guys, that was a rage quit. I'm not dealing with that. Cause they're just all buffed. Everybody just plays as Tiffany, Vanessa, or Bugsy, and they just buff them up. And Jason has no chance. Like literally no chance. You have to be perfect. You have to be perfect on every sense. And screw that. Get out of here. The salinity levels in the stream are rising. Yeah, man, I'm out. I'm just out with that. I got the one person that I wanted to kill, the person who shot me in the face twice, and then I am out. I have no time for that. Like, no time. JEV, you just saw me rage quit. You just missed me rage quit. Welcome back. Text says, yeah, that was BS. It's just so stupid. The game is just so unbalanced. Mr. I says, LOL. And Mr. I says, do you remember Elvira? I do. I do. I just recently watched Mistress of the Dark because they added it on to, I have a VHS copy of it. I think it just got released on Blu-ray, actually. Not yet in North America, but in Europe it got their release. But I saw that they added it to Shudder. I was like, I'll sign up. That's a great movie. With Edie McClure as like the super Christian lady. She has a funny name in it too, but I can't remember what it is. But yeah, I used to watch Movie Macabre all the time, man. One of my favorite movies to use clips from in the bits and pieces is The Mad Doctor of Blood Island. And I remember it's a more popular movie now. It's on Amazon Prime for some reason. But I remember the first time I ever saw it, it was on Elvira's Movie Macabre. LOL says, oh yeah, I quit the match, man. I was out. I know. When Vanessa and Bugsy is that buffed, I'm out. I'm out. I had one shot to defend the sweater and I screwed it up, so.
Spider, let's find our other mic friends. Jason, if you can like not kill us, somebody to go put gas in the car. Jason, like don't kill us.
Oops. Screwed up again. Usually I'm better on the repair on Chad, but not that time.
Yeah, take that, bitch.
I love that. Don't kill us. Please don't kill us. Please don't kill us. You take that, Jason. I put that right in your face. Jason, you take that. Come on. Mr. I says, you know what's funny? How come I feel like TV was better before we had like 5 million channels? Agreed. Oh my god. What am I doing? I thought I was opening the trap. God damn. The Chad luck is running out. The Chad luck is running out. And of course, everything's gone in here. Oh, Tech, I missed one of your comments there. Mr. Matthews says, oh, you were looking at Johnny's behind. And Tech says, I will look into it. Jack Black has opened Airborne. Yes! Airborne is a good movie. Tech says, I actually have the Three Stooges. The movie, it's fun as Larry David, creator of Seinfeld, playing a nun. Yeah, it's not too bad. That movie just took forever to get off the ground. It was in development hell forever. It's not the worst. Like, it's pretty good, but it should have been done, like, well before that. Mr. I says, I remember Saturday morning cartoons, Kung Fu Theater, and Mystery Theater. No! And that person just died.
Not super dad. Well, he'll come back as Tommy. I opened up a window for you. Get in.
Well, this guy's the nice Chad. I will, but I'm injured. Jeez, if this dude heals me.
Oh no, he's killed by rats.
Nice Chad.
Loaf, did you copy Loaf?
Tech says, don't give up. You need at least one Johnny Lawrence survives. Cobra Kai never dies. We had that chance, and I drove right into Jason, where I could have swerved out of the way. I had that chance. But I'm going to go up to all these cabins and look for some first aid sprays. If we can find a first aid spray while Jason's killing the other counselors, I might have a chance. JEV, has anyone seen The Curse of Lorena? I think that's how it's spelled. And oh no, not the child luck, everyone scram. The child luck is almost out. Well, yeah, once his luck runs out, he's useless. Nope. Nothing there. Come on, first aid spray. Oh, you're killing me. I remember when first aid sprays were always in these bathrooms, and now they took them out. They put them out in the wilderness. Yeah, you're not gonna find a first aid spray in the washroom, but hey, I can find it out beside a tree. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes total sense. Mr. I says, I'm about to take you back. At dawn. Remember Nancy during Hardy Boys TV show? Yep, I do. I remember watching it with my sister. Chad's slowly gonna get there, guys. Slowly. Could you imagine if I found first aid spray and the car keys? And the phone part. I just want to check these drawers. Like, I'm finding everything except damn first aid spray. I don't want to check these drawers before that person comes up here. And a pocket knife. I'm getting everything but the spray I need. Oh, the washrooms. The washrooms will have a spray if they haven't looted them yet. Head to the washroom, Chad. Head to the washroom. Come on. Ah, the windows are open, so they'll be gone. God damn it. Man, this game's trolling me right now. I'm finding everything but a first aid spray. Oh. Mr. I says, my grandmother loved murder, she wrote. Same. used to watch that show. And Matlock. All about the Matlock. No, I used to watch around there. I remember Unsolved Mysteries. I used to watch that all the time. And then they'd have all those shows. I remember Fact or Fiction with Jonathan Frakes on Fox was one of the more popular ones. But they had other, like, Really? You're gonna hack me to death? Thank you. No! You bastard! Ugh. I'm dead. Matlock, the hot dog guy. Text says, my Mima also loved Murder, She Wrote, along with Diagnosis Murder. Yeah! Good TV shows. Where to go now, guys? Where to go now? I don't know why he left me alive. Now I'm covered in blood. This is the weirdest Chad run ever. Okay. So we have another pocket knife. Probably not going to get to use it. He's probably going to hack me if he finds me again. So I'm going to make my way to the utility cabin through... Sometimes there's a first aid spray on the power box by the archery range. So, could you imagine if we survive this? So we're going to go this way. Down through the archery range. It's usually on the back side. Because there's sometimes a shotgun like right here. But I want to say the first aid spray is like around here somewhere. If there's a power box here. And they, even though we're looking for this to help, that's another thing that they ruined the game with. There's too many items. Like, I shouldn't be able to walk around and just find pocket knives sitting on benches. Or on tables. Like, come on. That's why the game's so hard for Jason now. Some of that stuff should have been taken out. And stop taking all the items. Mr. Matthews says, also Elf, yes! Mr. Matthews says, the cartoon Elf was trying too hard, agreed. But no, Elf was great. I remember one year I showed Rebecca the Christmas special, the one where he goes to visit the little girl in the hospital. That's legit. Elf's a good stuff. We're not... at least pick a weapon up. And Johnny says Columbo was pretty dope. Yep, Columbo's awesome. Always. Oh, and one more thing. And one more thing. And we think we talked about that here before. That joke. The and one more thing. Says, you're guilty and I know it. And here's why. Mr. I says pocket knives everywhere. Exactly. It's like they increased the pocket knives and lowered first aid sprays. What's the point of that? Then you just get hacker Jasons. And then you get dum-dums who leave bear traps in the middle for some reason. Like, why? Why is that a thing? Jenny says the fact that the remake of Maniac stars Elijah Woods is very odd. Oh, it's the remake. I did not know Elijah Woods was in that. You guys are all terrible. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I know of one that people might not have foraged. The one on the lifeguard bench over here. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Come on. Come on. Let it be there. Let it be there. Nobody ever takes this one. And I get killed right before I get there. I can see it. It's still there. I can see it, guys. I can see it. Haha! Chad is back in the game. Let's go get some stamina. Find out where that car is. Okay, hold on. Other car's like right there. He's probably camping. Mr. Matthews says they were supposed to be rebooting Elf. No idea where that went. Mr. Odd says he was always polite while catching them. Yeah, and then he's like, well, I'm sorry, but a cop that says I'm sorry. You seem like a really nice person, but I'm gonna have to arrest you for murder 1.
Holy shit, is that a dead body?
Here's all the people friggin' hogging. Hogging all the good stuff. He's probably standing like right here. Maybe not.
Holy shit. It started.
Oh yeah! Monza time, OG! We made it! That's it, guys. I'm out. Have a good night. Going out on top. You were right, Mega. You were right. Stay on it. Cobra Kai never dies. Don't give up. No quitting. I took your words to heart, and I turned that L into a W. Somehow.
That's my good boy. Mommy has a reward for you. Come home.
Tex says I watched some of the live action Alf. It's funny AF. I like how he tries to eat the cat. Oh yeah. What's the cat's name again? Has a name. Alf was actually featured in Marvel Comics and the live action Guardians of the Galaxy, making him canon. Yep. GV says, who's seen Baywatch? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Erica Elniak replaced by Pamela Anderson. Mr. Matthews says he was supposed to be escaping from Area 51 and then commenting on modern society. Tex says, I take it if I remember that. And Mr. Matthews says, where was Alpha and the Guardians of the Galaxy? Johnny says, oh wow, I just put together the star of Maniac is also the same guy in Rocky. Mr. I says, LOL. Mr. Tex says, when the movie shows his boombox set, Alpha's on a sticker on the side. Mr. Matthews says, hat trick. Really? It really was. I don't know how I survived that. I don't know how I survived that. But I'll take it. I will take that. Circle takes the square. On to the victory. Tex says, Cobra Kai, never die. That this match is a keeper. Somebody make a highlight vid of that. That really is. I think that's the best match we've ever had. That I've survived that long. I don't know how. When Jason had me, he left though. He could have killed me. He gave me a breather. That was his mistake. And I was going. And then I was in the car driving down the path. I'm like, don't crash. Don't crash this effing car. Do not crash this effing car. He's going to come out right or left. Veer, but do not crash this car. But hey, we made it. We'll play one more for that. Tex says, I already said my TechCom speech, so I'll just leave this in the stream. See you next week. Same time. Same bat time. Same bat channel. That's mine. Same YouTube channel, same time. But hey, I hear you on that, man. Cobra Kai never dies, JV says. We're going to play one more match. We'll do one more. We usually go to 11:30 or just beyond. We'll play one more match. I don't think we're going to have an epic match like we did the last time, but we'll see what happens. Mr. I says, LOL, the Beefy Boy jingle from that episode is on YouTube. Chew me, eat me, you can't beat me. I gotta watch that. Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna do one more attack. I was joking. I was joking. I was doing like the George Costanza. Always go out on top. That's it. I'm out. The best I'm gonna do. We'll do one more for sure, man. I'm not gonna leave you guys on that one. Not yet. One more run. I don't know why you didn't have more traps down though. I guess part 6 has a decent amount of traps, but not crazy. Mr. I says, I'm going to miss Robert Englund as Freddy. I hear you, man. That remake, I don't know about that. I'm not too sure who's going to play it next, but it'll be interesting to see. Johnny says, at dawn, hit 88 miles per hour and it was out. Exactly. Exactly. It's Roy, so it's not us. It's Chad one more time. But I found the plutonium in the local corner store. And Mr. I says he owned that role. He did. He really did. GEV says you can never kill Chad, the Cobra Kai master. Oh, when I'm really on, I'm good as Deborah as well, but I don't know what it is with Chad. I say it every week. I don't try as much with Chad. I just do it. And he has way better luck. Mr. I says, remember Urban Legends, the movie? Oh yeah, man. Wasn't that Katie? I want to say Katie Holmes was in that. Mr. Matthews says, a true showman never leaves his audience satisfied, always leaves them wanting more. Well, yeah, exactly. Just got to keep going. I can't leave on a win. Well, not like that easy of one. Even though that wasn't easy. Oh, I knew what you did last summer. Yep. Mega. TechCom is a huge I know what you did last summer fan.
Come on. That's like plywood to you, big guy. Come on.
Where's the car? And we're on the same map again.
There's no trap. Come on in. LB? No. One more check. And another RB.
Oh, I hope I'm doing this right.
Mr. I says, and the girl from the makeup commercials. JV says, and Chad, who is friends with Doc and finds plutonium at the local drugstore. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was referencing. I bet in 1985 you could find plutonium in any local drugstore, but it's a little hard to come by in 1955. But in 1955, it's a little hard to come by. Good night, future boy. Text says, okay, I'm back. The tab conked out for a moment. No worries, man. Glad you could make it back. Mr. I was just talking about I know what you did last summer. And Bones was also with Snoop Dogg, Mr. I. We talked about that before. I agree. It's a good one. Johnny says, they just played a trailer for Maniac Cop 2 and it looks pretty awesome. Is there a second? I don't think I've seen the second one. I need a weapon. Holy firecrackers. Oops. I was dropping a firecracker. Just leave it for someone else. I don't need 2 firecrackers. No, I can't close the right door. Uh-oh.
Fuck. Who is that?
Not closing that door.
My God, I can't look.
I'll take the axe. I think I was in that cabin. I think this is the cabin that I got the stuff out of. Is the door locked? No. Must have been in that cabin to the left. Oh yeah, no, this is the cabin. And I ran out down the street. This is the cabin that I need to check. That's probably already been checked. JV says, Doc, I came in a time machine that you invented, and I need your help getting back to the year 1955. Do you know what that tells me? What? Tells me that this damn thing doesn't work. You're looking for donations to the Coast Guard Youth Auxiliary. That's another good one. Come on, another key, another set of keys. Damn it! I thought we could have the 2-4, gentlemen. I thought we could have the 2-4. The 2-for-1. Where are the car keys? Both cars are repaired. Well, both cars will be repaired once I do these checks. RB, LB, come on LB. Yeah, RB. And RB. Oh, you.
Oh my God.
What are you freaking out about? Oh, the power went out. I'm like, what are you complaining about, Chad? Tech says, Mr. I'd like a game like this made for the last summer franchise. They can even give us a retro purple and teal fisherman. GV says 1.21 gigawatts. Great Scott. Oh, that's heavy. Why do you keep saying that word, heavy? Is there a problem with the Earth's dimensional pull? Gravitational pull? GV says, now I need to watch Back to the Future. I hear you, man. All three. It's been a while. Just watched the trilogy. Let's get ourselves a weapon in here. It's going to be a long wait again, I think, guys. So one car is underway. Where's the other car? Who's got the car keys? Somebody has to be holding them. I think we're going to chill and wait to try to get it on the cops. Because we're not too far from where the cops are. Or will be. I don't like Chad's chances with that weapon, though. Oh, I like that a lot more. Mr. Matthews says, Back to the Future gets a bad rap. I think it holds up well. It does, man. I agree. That it holds up well and it gets a bad rap. Are you Chicken McFly? Nobody called me. Well, I guess that's in both 2 and 3, but... Needles. But no, it's just as good as the other two. And 2 gets a bad rap sometimes as well. Text says Marty could have simplified it as slang, meaning it's too much for someone to handle. Mr. Matthews says, I do remember being disappointed by it at the time. And GAV says, Great Scott. Oh, this is heavy, Marty. And Text says, I also have my own idea for Back to Future 4, 5, and 6 inspired by Cobra Kai. Did they crash the car? Oh, God. We've got to let... Yeah, that's great. Get away from me.
So fun.
Why are you in my window? Well, that'd be good to pull Jason aggro. Stealing the car.
Fix it. I'm out of here.
Get us out of here, man.
If Mr. Matthews says creepy, what's he looking at? I know. He's just being a creep. Like, geez. Lay off the creep factor. Man. Mr. Matthews. Mr. I says one of the best episodes of the Friday the 13th TV show was the one with Lizzie Borden. You can watch it for free on YouTube. I don't think I've seen that one. Might have to check that one out. Come on. We are here. Can we have the 2 for 1? Did they crush that car too? Man, these guys suck. This Jason is not. Sometimes I have a hard time as Jason, but. And I did rage quit tonight, so I shouldn't talk too much trash, but. The salty levels in the stream came up as we predicted them. It started out okay, but the salty levels definitely picked up. Text says 2 was initially going to be set up in the 60s with young George and Lorraine just after starting the parents, but problems arose and the actors for George was fired. Yep. Crispin Glover, man. Well, people say it was weird. I think the dude's okay. I think he was probably just like flying on cocaine, to be perfectly honest, but. No! Other side. These D-bags are probably not going to give me a ride. Because I'm not a friend. Oh, thank you, Deborah. Tex says, notice how in part 2 he is obscured during the shot. His shots, yep. They shot it like that so you can't see his face. Mr. I says it's really good and has some graphic scenes. Oh, Friday 13th, yes. GEV says, Doc, do you mean my mom has got the hots for me? She hit me in the head. That means it's the Florence Nightingale effect. I've seen this before, Marty. Mr. Matthews says, yeah, Pete, how is that glass now? How full is that glass now? It's still about half full. Nothing alcoholic tonight, boys, though. Just water. Can you please leave? If I get killed, AJ, or whoever picked me up. Mr. Matthews says, Crispin Glover is weird. Yes! Agreed, but he's interesting dude with some funny roles. JV says that one part always gets me. And Texas Crispin Glover was on fire for being weird. He just had creative ideas that the filmmakers didn't agree with. Yeah. Well, if you look into it a bit further, the ideas he had were pretty far out there. But yeah, after this match wraps up, boys, I think that's it. But yeah, the whole, like playing with the incest jokes in Back to the Future, kind of like borderline as it is. Another movie that wouldn't get made today. They would never make that movie today. No way.
Ha! Wait, no.
Texas 2 matches in a row. Cobra Kai. Never
I'm
die.
not gonna stop you
We
from
need
letting me be a useful Tommy and living.
We needed some wins. We needed some wins. And that is it, gentlemen. The noble idiot is out.
You're kidding me.
And so am I. Mr. I says, yeah, I'm out. See you next Friday. Sounds good. So thank you all, everyone, for who came tonight. Mr. Matthews, Mega Jetty, OG, who's there as well. Inti was with us. JEV joined us again. Mr. I and Johnny. Thanks so much, everyone who's here and who's been here tonight for joining us again to make Crystal Lake Fridays what it is. I'll be back next Friday as well. Same time. Probably a little bit later to avoid all those technical issues. So I'll come back at my normal time of 8:30. And I'll see you then. Have a good night, guys. Have a good weekend. And I'll talk to you soon. Make sure we put the right one up. And I'm going to mute the microphone. I'm going to mute the microphone. And then I'm going to open the music up because I closed the file. God damn it. Every week it's something. Good night, guys.